on? What is going on, everybody? It is episode 649 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Woman Wednesday. Last week, we were really disappointed to miss Dane's presence in the studio on Woman Wednesday, but he's here this time. Hello.
Hello. Sorry for not being here last Wednesday.
Done being a bitch?
It's okay.
Nah, maybe. Tune in and find out.
The tension.
I am just kidding.
The tension in the room.
All good? You ready to talk about some stuff today?
Yes.
Yes, he's got his game face.
You got your Ben Affleck Dunkin' iced coffee. It's Ben Affleck Summer.
It means that you've got. It means that you're anxious and you've got a nice coffee. And
I have the overbearing Latino wife too.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Perfect. Yes.
You got that going for you. So, guys, before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. We are about to hit 122,000 subscribers. So, thank you all so much for that. Also, remember to share the video with your friends, your family, your loved ones, the people you like, the people you don't like. The more people you share it with, the faster this show grows. It is the best way to help us, so thank you for that. Also remember, all Super Chats $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion, and we will read those Super Chats right then and there. So, what are we getting into today? We got a bunch to talk about. First things first, you remember a couple months ago when Bob Iger said that there was no agenda at Disney. Well, we have fact-checked that, ladies and gentlemen, and it has been proven false because there was just a new casting call put out because they're looking to do a brand new Little Mermaid stage play, and they are looking to cast trans actors and actresses for both male and female roles.
Not just Ariel, the Little Mermaid herself, but also her love interest, Eric.
So we're gonna talk about that. We've also got so before we went on break for the 4th of July, James O'Keefe, of course, released the Disney Tapes Volume 3. It's the best mixtape you'll see all summer, and we weren't gonna talk about it because we kind of missed it before the end of the holidays, but it folds into this quite nicely. So we'll get into a little bit of the highlight reel of that. We're also going to talk about Bobbi Althoff, because if you don't know who that is, that's okay. Most people don't either. Do you want to describe to everyone who Bobbi Althoff is? She's kind of like a modern day version of a Kardashian, where they're famous and nobody knows why.
Well, she's definitely not on the level of fame as a Kardashian, but we've talked about her a few times before. She is a satirical podcaster who has interviewed many celebrities like Drake, for instance. She got a divorce earlier this year and has essentially gone off the rails since then.
So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be fun. And we're also going to talk about the way Gen Z has destroyed flirting. They just can't do anything right these days.
What if it was actually the millennials' fault?
What if it was the millennials?
I don't know.
Okay, Boomer.
We're going to entertain all of the possibilities.
But we're going to blame Gen Z. We are.
Just today.
Dane will blame the boomers, I'll blame Gen Z, and Mary can blame the millennials.
Yeah, I really have the most disdain for millennials, actually.
Boomers?
I really actually do dislike millennial culture more than boomer culture.
We should start a show where I make fun of Gen Z, you make fun of millennials, you make fun of boomers, and we'll call it the Pass the Buck podcast, where it's everybody blames a different generation.
Gen Z dislikes millennials for totally different reasons than the boomers dislike millennials. It's totally different.
Okay. So it's going to be a nice little hate fest today.
We'll get into it.
That's
it's
what
gonna
we're
be a lot
known
of fun.
for, spreading hate and division and confusion everywhere.
That's why I need to take a Prozac when I get off this show. No.
That was a joke.
Yeah, that was a joke. If you're ready, Mary, we'll get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
Dane.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, speaking of hate, there are a lot of people who tuned in to check out the trailer for Gladiator 2, a movie that literally nobody on planet Earth asked for, and the studio said, too bad. And it
you
is
can't
getting
put
ratio.
Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal in the same movie. First of all,
you just know there's going to be some lame human interest piece where they've got a group chat and it's got something to do with their names. Okay, so Gladiator 2 from Ridley Scott. There is no Russell Crowe in this film. It does, however, have Denzel Washington, which is a net positive for most things. But here's the problem, guys. They don't know how to edit trailers these days. The trailer is 3 minutes long. It gives away pretty much the whole movie. And in a movie about a historic time period, they decided to use modern rap music, the song No Church in the Wild by Kanye West and Jay-Z, because it uses the word Coliseum in the name.
They made sure you could hear it loud and clear.
It has right now 141,000 downvotes to just 104,000 upvotes. And all of those upvotes are from people, I'm sure, who just like Denzel, like me. If I was to upvote this thing, which I did not, I would only do so because I like Denzel as an actor. But in this trailer, he's kind of just playing Denzel.
Yeah.
In a way. He kind of channels all his other characters, and I'm completely okay with that. But nobody needed there to ever be a Gladiator 2 Electric Boogaloo, unless they were actually to make it Electric Boogaloo and then make it,
and actually put Russell Crowe in it.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Fat Russell Crowe.
Well, they just showed one of the clips from the original in the trailer just to remind everyone.
What somebody pointed out to me was like, look, one of the most incredible things about the original movie was the Hans Zimmer score, and they're like, yeah, but wait. Let's ruin it with this music. And this isn't the first time. What I immediately thought of, Dane, do you remember when Assassin's Creed the movie came out?
The movie?
Yeah, they made a movie back in 2016, and there's this line right at the midway point of the trailer where they basically do the no one expects the Spanish Inquisition, because they go back in time to the Spanish Inquisition, and then they play like a Kanye song.
Amazing.
And I'm like, why?
It's also like how they gave the DEI samurai a hip hop backtrack for his fight scenes in Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Correct.
And it feels like they just added the rap song because Denzel is in it.
No,
You know what's
I don't
funny?
think it's. I think it's literally just.
That's what everyone's commenting.
You have two choices when you make Hollywood movies now. You either remix an old classic, or you do a dark version of a rap song, and those are your two choices.
Well, everyone in the comments, at least, is saying that some stupid Hollywood executive thought there's a black guy in Rome. We're gonna put a rap song over it. Like that was essentially their thought process.
Do you guys know what's funny? I think we've talked about this before, but I feel like a lot of people are like offloading their decision making to AI. And it comes to the planning of everything when it's like ready calls to action and even like making trailers like this. But
this type of trailer, though, has been around long before AI was something that they were using to offload. Like, this is a very stereotypically packaged Hollywood trailer where they pay no attention to the time period in which it was made, in which to draw the music from. Right?
But I feel that I feel like AI will tell you to do something like this as well. And so a study came out that if the AI has like one data point about their audience, it's like 80% more effective or like 50% more effective than like something written by a human. And so I've been trying to use calls to action. And I remember I was like reviewing calls to action with Jessica, and we were like, oh, let's modify this, that, and the other.
Okay.
But then the idea is like, maybe we should use it like this, because maybe it's our modifications where we're losing all those other conversions.
Okay.
This is a really long about way of saying that, you know, when you're not 100% the demographic, I feel like things can like peeve you, but I wonder if it's still effective.
Here's
you know
the
what
thing.
I mean?
Like, the thing is, there's like, this is a movie made by Ridley Scott, who's, Medicare age, he's AARP age. His audience is going to correspond upwards. Like,
his audience is Gen X, right?
And they're not looking for the youth vote on this film. And it just, if not AI, then it's what it is, Dane, is it's studio executives who just are coasting. And somebody said, like, why didn't the editor tell him no? Like, why didn't at least one person, like, do the right thing and say, like, don't do this, so they can at least say later, like, look, I tried to talk him out of it, but he wouldn't do it.
Someone in the comments said, finally, a sequel that was never asked for, a movie that does not need one, made for a, quote, modern audience that doesn't exist.
Yes.
How original. Are they really trying to appeal to the modern audience? Or are they trying to get the fans of the original movie to watch?
I mean, you could
second
say they
one?
were doing that because they put the little clip of Russell Crowe in there, not telling you that he's not going to be in this one.
Deceptive marketing.
I mean, I don't know if casting Denzel in such a role means that you're looking for the modern audience. I think Denzel is a classic actor that brings in, the above average cinema goer. But also, like, Paul Mescal is new. Pedro Pascal is just the guy who you now cast whenever you need a generic looking guy who's inoffensive.
Racially ambiguous person.
A racially ambiguous person that fills a box. It's really funny because I watch him.
He's not racially
I see
ambiguous.
so many old TV shows with him in it, and you really wouldn't have been able to predict his career trajectory, because he's not a bad actor. He's perfectly fine at what he does, but there wasn't anything about him in any of these roles. Like, usually what I've noticed is, like, when an actor is really, really good and they're getting like guest starring roles, they kind of own every scene they're in, and you can tell that they're kind of destined for something more. That's kind of how I feel about Glenn Powell when I see him. Like, he looks like he's destined for more than what he was initially doing. Right? And there's a lot of actors like that don't necessarily always reach the height of others. But there was nothing about him that was anything other than maybe he ends up leading TV shows. Like, as that lead of The Last of Us, perfectly fine. I think that's where his trajectory is. But him in the Fantastic Four, him in these big budget films, it just doesn't make sense to me in a way that usually comes off from certain actors who just have that type of charisma. I just don't feel like he has that in the same way. Like, and I was more forgiving towards his performance in The Last of Us than you were, right? Like, I was like, look, there's a lot of bad material here that he elevates at least to the level of acceptable, or in some cases, I do think above average. But that doesn't mean that he's a movie star.
Well, I think in The Last of Us, he was just in contrast to Bella Ramsey's acting.
Yeah.
Relatively okay.
So he's
and
the
then
one
everyone
who's
was like, it's this masterpiece. Like, wow.
In skating, you relate that to like what they call hometown heroes, where it's like, it's the dude who's better than everyone in his hometown, but as soon as he goes and skates elsewhere with people of a higher status, you can see that he's not quite on their level.
Yeah,
right?
but he's just there to fill a title card, really. That's how it feels. And this movie, like all of these other pointless sequels, is there to fill an empty slot. Like,
it didn't need to be made.
No sequel needs to be made. No prequel needs to be made. No spin-off needs to be made.
I understand that,
Nothing
but
needs to be made.
There are films that at least seem to beg the question from a certain sector of the audience. It's kind of like when they made the second 300 movie. Nobody wanted that either.
Gladiator 2 is being made because they required the least amount of thought to make it. Like,
it's
that's the point.
It's very annoying, and I imagine that we'll go and review it. Like, if this thing ends up being 3 hours long, I don't know how.
We'll see what the runtime is.
Like,
and speaking of pointless sequels that also don't need. But
I do want to point out, like, if there is one, if I was to give an upside to the trailer, is that I do think that it looks really, really, it's beautifully shot and it looks good. The CGI rhino is perfectly acceptable.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another pointless sequel that doesn't need to be made is a sequel to The Devil Wears Prada, starring Meryl Streep, who has never been in a sequel before.
Ever?
It must have been a rule for her, but she changed her mind just for this.
That's so funny.
And I don't know any of the details about it, and I don't need to, because I already know they're going to mess it up. This is a girl movie.
Okay, so I've never seen the original. Can you tell me why they're gonna mess? I mean, I can assume that why, but can you tell us why?
I have no idea.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I don't feel like it needs a sequel. It was really one of those it was really one of those movies that had beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
So when you start it again, it's just reintroducing a plot that makes you want to rediscover these characters kind of leads to lazy writing and lazy stereotypes that seem predictable. I mean, maybe they're not.
We know Meryl Streep is going to be playing Miranda Priestley, but we don't know if Anne Hathaway is going to be in it, which she probably isn't. So they're going to replace.
Wait, why wouldn't she be in it?
Well, I don't understand how you continue that story anyway.
Okay.
But it whatever. They just pick a new person to play her underling in the movie. But the primary reason I think they're going to mess it up is because the original presented an interesting story about the conflict of a young woman in the city who is career focused and her focus on making sure that she doesn't destroy her relationship. And at the end, surprisingly, Anne Hathaway's character chooses love over sacrificing her morals to work for Miranda Priestley.
And you think now she would choose, like they wouldn't even entertain that question?
No.
Now? The career goes the whole way?
Because even asking the question is an insult to women's empowerment.
Reminds me of Glenn Close and Rose Byrne in Damages.
I've never seen that.
It's a Glenn Close plays like a high-powered attorney, and Rose Byrne's character is basically it's a murder mystery. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. It was very, very good. It came out in 2007, but a lot of it was her being, in awe of this bigger personality who's very dubious and very duplicitous, and she has a romance that I won't give it away. I do recommend. I think it's on Hulu. People should go and watch it. It was very, very good.
But she's working for Miranda Priestley, who is based on Anna Wintour, who runs Vogue and the Met Gala as well. And she basically realizes as time goes on that her boss is a soulless monster who will do anything for her job and sacrifices her own marriage for her job. And she decides that she doesn't want to live a life like that. Yeah. And at the end, she decides to follow her own passion. And then she ends up back with her boyfriend, who she pushed away for her career. That would not be a plot line in any 2024 movie.
By the way, that's the ultimate conclusion of the movie. But the characters are written, they're not flat. They're kind of round. So it makes sense that this is the kind of person, that would have that kind of pedigree the way she's written. She's shown as very competent, and so it's kind of a mentorship role that, in my experience of seeing a mentor woman and an underling woman, kind of real to how it is. But the conclusion as to what you're saying is that it's 100% that, and so
yeah. And the fact that all of the women in that workplace in the movie are backbiting bitches who are obsessed with getting their own and pushing everyone down to get ahead in life, that's also something that they're not willing to show in a movie today.
I mean, maybe they are.
That would go against the narrative that all women get along, girl power, and it's just men who are tearing us apart. And in the fashion industry, maybe you could say that about gay men, but that's just not something that they're capable of writing today.
Yeah, maybe they are. I mean,
that's why they can't get women in the theaters. Because they're not making anything for women.
You're 110% right about that. If they could find a way to do more of the original movie, it's not that one specifically, but storylines that fall in line with that, they would bring more women to the theaters for that type of film.
I agree that it's improbable that they'll go that direction. The direction where I imagine it going is, it starts immediately in media res, post breakup of her and the chef guy, and being I was really badass at fashion, and then Meryl Streep calls her, well, you can come back. And
this is what Discussing Film says about the plot. It says Miranda's career goes into decline, which forces her to go face to face with Emily Blunt's character, now a major executive at a luxury group whose advertising dollars Miranda desperately needs.
Okay, so Emily Blunt is going to be in it, but Anne Hathaway won't.
I mean, I don't know if Emily Blunt is who I'd cast for that. I don't know.
Well, she was really good in the movie. I mean, maybe it just wouldn't work today.
It can be said that the movie without Anne Hathaway wouldn't have much sense, but it kind of does, because her story's over.
Yeah.
And so if they leave her out of it, and then
Was Emily Blunt's character a major executive in the first one, or
she was kind of
starting out?
She was another underling who was competing with Anne Hathaway's character.
I see her personality-wise, Emily Blunt's acting as that more than I do seeing her as the high-powered executive type.
Or the director in Fall Guy.
Yes, even that. Even that's more she was building consensus in a way that directors don't build. You have to be a dictator to be a film director, and I don't know if she's really capable of pulling that up. But we'll wait and see. If we review it, I guess I'll have to go and I'll have to watch the original before.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be out for 3 years.
We'll be on episode 10,000 by that point. Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on. So, did you know that right now there is an amazing array of Lego thefts going on all over the country? Oregon, also Los Angeles, and they are getting more sophisticated in their methods. I found this other article. So just the other day, they reported on a $200,000 Lego theft ring that was busted in Oregon.
You were imagine living in Portland and there are a bunch of
just
needles all over the
crack
ground.
rocks on the ground and needles
Tent
everywhere.
cities.
And these guys got like they got the table out and they've got their vests, they've got their plate carriers, and they're holding their vests like this while they show you the goods that they just confiscated. $200,000 after a 3-month investigation, and you can see right here all of the Legos that have been recovered. It makes sense because if you've ever been to the Lego store, which there's a Lego store in the Mall of America, it's always packed and everything is just...
They're single-handedly keeping Star Wars afloat right now.
You're not leaving there without spending hundreds of dollars if you're trying to buy anything significant. But it reminded me of this old story that we never talked about. It was this thing from TMZ. It says, black market explodes for Lego. So there's like a huge black market for Legos.
Yeah,
right
which
now.
I was totally unaware of, and I still don't understand why TMZ is covering it.
But
okay.
A huge demand for Legos and sky-high prices at retail stores are creating a growing black market in Southern California, where thieves are going to great lengths, even employing counter surveillance.
You know what? I respect the hustle. Yes, I do.
It says, once the thieves make off with the Legos, our sources say they turn around and sell them to fences, folks who deal in stolen goods, and the Legos are then sold on websites like eBay, Facebook, and OfferUp. I mean, I don't know why you couldn't just sell them yourself. I don't know why you need a fence.
You gotta cover your tracks.
You gotta cover your tracks. As we reported, there was a big Lego bust in SoCal earlier this month. Again, this article is old, with nearly 3,000 boxes of Legos discovered by police. I guess it makes sense, right? It's like they have high value. They're easy to physically move, meaning like the boxes aren't heavy. It's crazy. Like you go to like a Lego store or any Target or anything like that, and those large piece sets are hundreds of dollars.
I could eat my words later, but you know what you're not going to see is a Funko Pop theft ring.
Because nobody cares anymore.
Nobody wants them anymore.
Every time I hear about Funko Pop now, it's all about layoffs at the company.
They're failing.
Like I love this. It says the Springfield Police Department says they partnered with loss prevention investigators from Target, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble and Fred Meyer to confirm the Lego thefts. They said that the store owner and another man were each arrested, charged with organized retail theft and first-degree theft by receiving. Not good, guys. Not good.
I still think that they should make like more movies about financial crimes, and maybe this could fit the bill.
This is why
They're always really successful.
This is why you should watch White Collar, because that's really what it's about. It's about art theft and financial crime.
There's a movie script just waiting to be written about this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this might even get...
But would Lego allow it?
I mean, it kind of makes them look badass. People are like, our goods are so good, people want to steal them.
Yeah. And they're making that Lego biopic about Pharrell Williams right now.
That's so weird. That
is
literally
weird,
feels like
but-
somebody just flipped a coin, or like they put a bunch of names like
No,
on
that's what Dane was saying about letting AI write things for you and make all these decisions for you. That's
mean, I feel like
how you get to a Pharrell Williams biopic in the Lego world.
They put a bunch of squares for like themes, actors, musicians, and then they just flipped like a coin, and whatever one it landed on, they made the movie about. Like, so what will be the theme? Lego.
I don't know.
Who will it be about? Pharrell.
How do you make a biopic about Pharrell Williams kid friendly though?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to wait.
Wait, is he the one who's married to Chrissy Teigen? Who's the one?
No, that's
married?
John Legend.
Same thing.
Not the same thing.
I'm just kidding.
I thought Pharrell was gay, but
No. I have no
maybe
idea.
I'm wrong.
John Legend.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just, if you've got a Lego set that you got for a holiday, for like a gift, maybe you can resell it online for Uber bucks.
Or protect it dearly from people trying to cut into your roof.
Okay, there's more to discuss here, ladies and gentlemen. So everyone knows Sad Fleck is a meme, but now there is what's called Ben Affleck Summer, which basically means you look depressed and you have an iced coffee.
You have a slouchy style with a side of iced coffee. It's just walking around drinking Dunkin' iced coffee while really stressed out. And today, fortuitous event, Dane came in with his own Dunkin' iced coffee, but he wasn't looking very stressed out.
And did he carry it like this? You got to carry it like this.
You got to carry it on the lid.
I've been reliably told that I guess you're probably only allowed to do it like that. Servers are never supposed to serve you a drink with your hands on the lid, because then it's where your mouth goes, right? So they got to carry it like this.
But I think I've seen a photo from Ben Affleck like holding his coffee like that and dropping it. He's just holding the lid and looking at the ground like dejectedly, as he always looks.
It's a sad
vibe.
It's a sad. You know what it is? Every single one of these should be accompanied by a Billie Eilish song.
I think that Ben Affleck has done more for the Dunkin' brand outreach than any marketing executive ever has.
Yeah.
That's why he got the
probably
brand
right.
deal.
I mean, how does Dunkin' even, like, it's really crazy. Like, when
America
you think
runs
about,
on Dunkin'.
I love that catchphrase.
But
by the way.
like in the age of Starbucks, that Dunkin' is even still around.
Well, they have the donuts.
I know,
so that
but like,
helps.
it's like when I was home in Minnesota, there's like Caribou everywhere. I'm like, who the fuck goes to Caribou? But apparently people do.
If you're boycotting Starbucks because they are
Supporting the IDF.
supporting the IDF or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
then you have to go to Caribou or Dunkin'.
And I was like, who the hell goes to, like, they built like a new Caribou like in my old neighborhood, and I'm like, it's one of those ones that's not even like, you can't even go in. It's a drive-through.
I remember a time in 2020 when things were so deranged after George Floyd Summer. Celebrities could not go out holding anything from Starbucks without getting a barrage of hate for not buying from a black-owned coffee shop. I'm so serious.
Yep.
And they actually did it.
And Ben Affleck's
That didn't last
like,
very long, though.
And Ben Affleck's like, no, I've got you. Come to Dunkin'.
But he has bigger problems.
Oh, but this is, I sent this to Mary as soon as I saw it today. So Ben Affleck's daughter that he has with Jennifer Garner has chosen not to become a Nepo baby in Hollywood. Instead, she's going to be a busybody political activist. The worst kind.
Yeah. His daughter is a mask Nazi.
She is a mask Nazi. Like it says, so she is not cruising on the success of her famous parents. She's standing up for what she believes in a major local governing body. So she's going around giving speeches about how mask mandates should still be employed.
How is anyone supposed to hear your impassioned speech when it's muffled by an N95, Violet?
I need you to please re-employ the mask mandate.
Let's look at the speech that she gave here.
Hi, Violet Affleck, Los Angeles resident, first-time voter. I'm 18. I contracted a post-viral condition in 2019. I'm okay now, but I saw firsthand that medicine does not always have answers to the consequences of even minor viruses. The COVID-19 pandemic has thrown that into sharper relief. 1 in 10 infections leads to long COVID, which is a devastating neurological cardiovascular
Great
illness
lung capacity.
that can take away people's ability to work, move, see, and even...
Actually, I was going to say Ben's going to need to work with her on her timber and her delivery. Like she's going to have to slow it down a little bit. Okay?
think stands to exacerbate
Cute dress.
homelessness crisis, as well as the suffering of many people in our city, communities of color, disabled people, elderly people, trans people, women, and anyone in a
Oh my God.
essential job the hardest.
So remember that even as a non-discriminatory illness ravages the world, the people it will hurt the most are anyone that is
Trans,
white.
disabled, POC sex workers.
Correct.
Obviously.
To confront the long COVID crisis, I demand mask availability, air filtration, and far UVC light in government facilities, including jails and detention centers, and mask mandates in county medical facilities. We must expand the availability of high-quality free tests and treatment, and most importantly, the county must oppose mask bans for any reason. They do not
Her
keep us
gasps
safer.
for air.
They make vulnerable members of our community less safe and make everyone less able to participate in Los Angeles together. Thank
Bro,
you.
rich people are really concerned about the poor, eh?
Yikes. That's really bad. And then his other daughter is non-binary.
Correct.
Imagine that. You're like, I have a non-binary daughter and a mask Nazi daughter, not sure what's worse and not sure where I went so wrong in life that I ended up in this situation.
She
is literally the worst type of person, but somehow it's even worse because of her parents being mega millionaires.
I like the idea of a skit though, where like Ben comes home from like an event and she just critiques him on not wearing a mask out to galas.
Why didn't you wear a mask? Why didn't Jennifer wear a mask to the whatever they do, the Emmys?
And then you wonder why he looks so sad all the time.
I can't.
You know, one of my favorite, I don't know, interactions online is when people use percentage calculators to quantify the percentage of, for example, how likely are you to have 2 like non-binary children?
Yes.
Well, one of them is Jennifer Lopez's daughter, and one of them is Ben Affleck's daughter from his previous marriage, and I'm sure that they've found a lot of bonding together in their gender identities.
But still, it would be like percentage calculator, 2 non-binary people living under the same household, blah, and like
living in the same mansion.
Yeah. It's meant correct. A worthy addition. you know, Josie, bless her soul, she does this all the time, and it's always fractions of a percentage, but it's like super, like below the decimal fractions of a percentage, which once again, like, you know, it makes you wonder how much of modernity is performative stuff.
POV, you're about to get the worst lecture you've ever gotten in your entire life.
Also, she like speed runned
Yes.
1,000 like phrases. She was like,
They have time
black, trans,
limits.
queer, people of color, underprivileged, blah blah blah, in like 5 seconds.
I want to see Violet Affleck go toe to toe with Alex Stein at a school board meeting.
That would be, hey, I'm the one who always says, like, look, like, if caring about national level politics is like pro wrestling, what you should be focusing on is your city and local events. So she's got that right.
She's the person that you need to fight back against.
Exactly.
She is literally, just look at this photo. She does not look like a happy person.
No, that was like, when I first read this, right, I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. And then I saw the picture. I'm like, oh, we have to talk about this.
Like,
she just looks so unhappy.
I would feel bad for these people if they weren't being terrorists.
Yes. If it wasn't,
You know?
if their goal wasn't to impose upon your life.
Yeah, like, you know what? Wear an N95 wherever you want. I still see it sometimes. I feel bad for people who are that deranged and detached from reality. But if you're trying to impose it on the rest of us,
I just saw.
F right off.
Hold on, I just.
For
saw.
me, you know, I don't know what's more concerning. Not being able to let, you know, because if you can't let go of that, at least for me, what I derive from that is that you're a germaphobe and you're you know, you hold strong to your conviction. You're wrong, but
Well,
however, for example, what is harder for me to believe is like the mass influx of people. I'm sorry to make this political, but like after the debate performance, we're like, oh wow, Biden's really, you know, he's really gone. It's like crazy. Like he's been in the public eye for millennia, and like the point of comparison over the last 3 years of his performance has been like very staunch. It's just funny how now you realize that the most public person in the entire universe is having cognitive decline.
Yeah.
All at once, the entire like 50% of the nation, as you know, at once and with like heightened intensity.
Yeah.
So that for me is the, you know.
But there was this actress, Morgan Fairchild. She's a old school actress, been around a long time. She still wears like the mask and the visor.
And why do you need to take a selfie
and she
while
was
you're
like,
wearing it?
she had like, it wouldn't let me log in. Like, I'm not gonna log in right now, but it wouldn't let me open the thing. But it's like, why isn't anybody else wearing their mask?
Like, shut up. You're the worst. And the mask mandates and social distancing mandates, they catered perfectly to the female hysteria, like Victorian style female hysteria that is running rampant today, and the neuroses that are controlling women's brains.
They're like,
and their need to be like the devouring mother on the rest of society
because they don't have their own kids.
They're
like, not only is there a pandemic, it's also the Handmaid's Tale.
No one is putting them in check. If Ben Affleck sees this, he needs to put her in check.
Never gonna happen.
By the way, this is a great point, and this is like my biggest issue with masking in particular, is because in my family there is people with obsessive compulsive disorder, and that is an intense,
those things don't pair well together.
An intense mental affliction. Yeah. And when I mean, I don't know how much of this we can navigate, so I'll try to do it as graciously as I can. But when you have an entire portion of the population confirming what is normally an insanely irrational fear, like this is like dangerous
spiral
to a level that cannot be comprehended.
I've also
these people need help.
Like, women are starting to self-diagnose with long COVID the way that they self-diagnose royal pain style with lupus. It's becoming a new version of that.
Did you see the video of the woman who shaved her head because of long COVID? Apparently, she's like a researcher and actually like a professional and something like that. I don't know.
I don't even know if long COVID is real or not. I'm just saying that, you know, whether or not it exists, it appeals perfectly to the type of woman who would self-diagnose herself with chronic Lyme. Or
that's the new one. That is the new one that I see all the time now. Where
Lyme disease is actually very spiritual. It
Yes.
means that you're a star seed and that you can predict the future.
I see that they're like it took years, but I was sick with undiagnosed Lyme disease. That's the new one that I see all the time.
maybe just like herpes, the cure is actually radical self-love.
It must be.
Dude, that was a great one, by the way. Also, I'm so sad I wasn't on that this episode, but MrBeast for president, not even once.
That's a fantastic segue because MrBeast actually just hit 300 million subscribers on YouTube, the first YouTube channel to ever do such a thing.
I would love to know how many of them are in the US, because of course they would be voting for him in a presidential race.
So what do you mean not even once? Not even once?
Dude, I think that the way that the universe is panning out is that I'm gonna have MrBeast derangement syndrome when
It's going to be MrBeast v AOC in 2032.
Yeah, well, I mean, two Democrat, but whatever. But like, I'm gonna have MrBeast derangement syndrome, where literally everything he does, I'm gonna be like, he's literally, I don't know,
It's Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah, 300 million subscribers. And it's so funny. You look at his other channels, like MrBeast Gaming has like 45 million subscribers, something like that.
How is that even possible? It just seems like a ton of those must be bots.
I don't know. Dude keeps winning. I mean, the view counts are high on his videos, so it's not like he's... but my point was, Dane, I said, I would love to see the U.S. government do Squid Game-like contests for our foreign aid. If we have to give away billions of dollars to foreign countries and I'm gonna get screwed, I better at least get YouTube videos out of it where foreign representatives from governments have to compete for our money.
Yeah. I want to see like Zelensky and Bibi Netanyahu like playing a game of like life or death double Dutch.
That's awesome.
So
like American Ninja Warrior, but it's just foreign aid Ninja Warrior, and they have to all compete. They have to do the salmon ladder.
My point of contention is that, listen, I do admire when he does these incredible charitable works, and I think they are to be like respected and you know, to be like, hey, good and thank you. But in a statesman and a leader, I don't want the metaphorical and physical representation of my nation to be a person that does
handouts.
Not even handouts, but like meticulous calculations for a fraction of a percentage of a like. You know what I mean? I want someone that represents the spirit of the age, perhaps to be something more positive and less terminally online. And you know,
the world is only going to get more terminally online.
Perhaps, but still, kinetic conflict will exist, and I don't think MrBeast is like the one to be like, today we're gonna do 300 videos to get Russia to stop having war in Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yes.
I don't think anyone was genuinely saying they wanted to. vote for him.
Never know.
You never know, though.
You never know, because a lot of people were unironically about Oprah, but then, you know,
half of Gen Z is still not voting age yet, so we're gonna have to see if that's a possibility later on.
You know.
All right, guys, let's move on then, shall we? So we've been reviewing The Acolyte on this channel, doing our best to get through it without losing our minds. In fact, our episode 6 and 7 reviews will be coming out tomorrow. Well, there was a lot of discourse going around after the show launched about whether the show did well upon its first episode release. It's episode 1 and 2. Everyone went back and forth. They touted different numbers. But what Nielsen is now showing is that it had the second worst premiere of any of the Disney Plus Star Wars, only beaten out by Andor, which sadly is the show everyone loves, but nobody cares about. It came in 7th in the top 10 streaming original shows. What I want to point out here, more important than The Acolyte, is just how dominant Netflix is in the streaming world. Like, it isn't to be undersold just how dominant Netflix. Even one of them is a Paramount show that somehow works with Netflix.
Just above it is Netflix's show Dancing for the Devil, the 7 million TikTok cult.
I want to watch that. I do. So there's this like TikTok dancer named Miranda Derrick or something like that, who apparently was like, I don't know. Okay, all I know is I used to be forced to look at TikTok dance videos on Instagram all the time. I want to hear about the cult, but the point is they know their audience, and it looks like the Acolyte is not doing the numbers that they thought it was. Second worst launch or second worst premiere. It's only gotten more divisive as time has gone on. We've certainly given our reviews talking about the show as a whole. It's leaked out into all aspects of culture, meaning that people that don't even care about Star Wars hear about this stuff now.
Not even Kenobi was that hated.
No, it wasn't.
It didn't have the same hype for hate watching as the Acolyte does. And for good reason. They've really earned the hate.
Yes.
And right now, they're sitting at a 14% score from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes and an 82% from critics, which is an absolute joke. But some people reported that Rotten Tomatoes was trying to cover their tracks.
They just got rid of it for a while.
They hid the audience score during the premiere of the 7th episode. Nerdrotic posted about this, saying that they removed it from their main search. And it reappeared mysteriously later on. But we've already known that Rotten Tomatoes is compromised for a long time.
It's going Captain Marvel route of hiding stuff from the audience.
I'm honestly surprised that the audience score is even that high. I would have thought it just would keep dropping further and further.
I mean, I think the funniest thing at all is that, like, to this day, like, you have to, like, again, we talk about terminally online. If you remove yourself from like terminally online discourse and you take a step back, and you think about how funny it is that a movie review site is like ground zero for the culture war in some respects, where whether it's Captain Marvel, whether it's The Last Jedi, it became this weird stomping ground for both sides of the culture war to claim that they've been review bombed. And then everybody fights about it. And it's like, well, the battle for the soul of America happens tomorrow, and it's going to happen on RottenTomatoes.com.
Didn't Leslie Headland make some kind of response to the low audience score relatively recently?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that here. What was it she said?
I thought it was like relatively magnanimous, but really she's just trying to save face.
You know, Brett, that's a really great point, what you just made. It's that the issue is that in the individual media is being used constantly as the battlefield for the culture war.
Yeah.
This is Leslie Headland claims negative reviews for The Acolyte are review bombing, and she previously claimed she was sad that the show was being quote unquote dismantled. This is from her Hollywood Reporter interview. It makes me feel sad that a bunch of people on the internet would somehow dismantle what I consider to be the most important piece of art that I've ever made. And she's now claiming the negative reviews are just review bombing. Everybody knows what review bombing is like. Truly, when the show first came out, my publicist was like, okay, with the review. And I was like, does anybody take that seriously anymore? Perhaps the average, I understand the point of it. What is that the average viewer would look at the site and say, oh, the user review is really low. But I think that if you're in the Star Wars fandom, you already know what review bombing is. So if you're totally new to the fandom and you're considering watching the show, it could affect you. But I also think that my work in the past has been very word of mouth anyway. So I think that because behind the scenes we all know what it is, it's not that it's not concerning, but it's pretty expected, I would say.
What's interesting about this is I saw a very fun discussion happen. You know how me and you have talked before about your ideas about knowledge and education and who it should be in the hands of, right? Mm-hmm. The idea that intellectualism shouldn't necessarily be... What was it you said? You said, like, basically, like, you don't think that necessarily we need everyone to go to college. You were saying that, like, the idea is that knowledge should be passed down to...
the people who can afford it, aristocrats, essentially?
Yeah, aristocrats. There was a discussion happening about how back in the day, when a small amount of people were the ones to review movies, it was better because what we would now deem shills. Now, I don't know if I would call Siskel and Ebert shills. I think they did a pretty good job of, voicing their opinions one way or another on movies and television because it wasn't such a polarizing topic at the time. But they're basically saying, like, well, it should be the voices of a few that matter when it comes to movies and television, and you should just listen to them. Well, if I have to listen to only Collider and Screen Rant, just no.
That's essentially what Leslie Headland is saying.
Yes.
The only opinions that matter are that of the official media outlets that are going to shill for us anyway.
That doesn't work in the age where most of these companies are all owned by subsidiaries of larger companies.
That also doesn't work in the age of social media. And she's making a bold assumption that the people giving the Acolyte negative reviews didn't give it a chance.
Exactly.
And
'Cause we've
perhaps
given it 7
that's true
chances.
for a lot of people, but for us at least, we're only speaking for ourselves. We are finishing the series and have not found anything to like about it.
Yep.
Like, is there even one sign
I thought
they
that
put any thought into this or any effort into this?
I thought there was stuff to like with Kamir in earlier episodes, in like the middle episodes. That was like the extent of it.
I didn't.
Like, to me, I was like, you know what else would help? If I could see what the hell was going on and it wasn't constantly so dark that I couldn't understand anything that was happening.
So from what you're saying, in a sense, the issue is the complete disregard for mass appeal. Because it's quite, I think that we're at the point in kind of like society and culture where the spirit of the age is the presumption that mass appeal is progressive values. But whenever we have a platform that is profoundly uncensored and has some degree to anonymity, the proliferation of the opinions are the exact opposite. So it's really hard to gauge when how much of the audience is what they would consider like a right-wing Yahtzee or progressive, because I don't know if it's probably algorithmically that the platforms are, we're all better segregated. And I'm seeing less of it, but like statistically, and the way that the algorithms have been discussed in the past as a marketing professional, man, extraordinaire, is that you are more likely to engage with things that offend you, so you'll see it more often. But I see these things less often, despite the fact that it is that way. So I don't know. I
will push back a little bit on this chart here, because when they list the amount of episodes, there are less episodes of the Acolyte than there are of these other shows, and it's going by minutes watched, right? The problem is, have you even heard of most, like, Star Wars is not just an American brand. Star Wars is a global force, has been for decades. I don't know what Eric is.
No.
I know what
I haven't heard of most of these.
I know what Sweet Tooth is, didn't care to watch it. Bridgerton, I know what Bridgerton is. Evil is a Paramount show based on an exorcist, and just okay, right? Like these are not things that have the same level of mass appeal.
So she's essentially saying that, she's okay with not appealing to the mass audience if it can appeal to the people that are in the Star Wars fandom who are probably going to like anything they produce anyway.
It loses to the TikTok cult.
Making something for a niche audience does not work when you are doing it under the moniker of something like Star Wars or like Marvel. That's just not how it works. But she doesn't care because she's already gotten her paycheck, and she has no incentive outside of getting the job to make it a good product.
And it's a double whammy, because not only is it bastardizing a popular franchise, it's bastardizing a popular franchise under the misguided guise that it's like, oh, it's because we're on the right side of history. Yep. And so it really leads to a philosophical discussion of is it the right side of history, and B, who gets to decide the right side of history?
It's
certainly not the former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein.
And what they're doing here, it's the same thing. Like you said, it's the decision to go niche, right? They just did the trailer to Agatha All Along, to the Agatha series that nobody cares about because it was a niche character in a Disney Plus Marvel show from 3 years ago that nobody remembers nor cares about, and everyone's saying, "Why are you making this?" Nobody cares.
Tax write-offs.
Yep. All right, let us move on then, shall we? What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
The cringe is pretty bad.
Okay.
So maybe we should start with that.
We'll start with the cringe then first.
It's special for you, Dane. Thank you.
And I will have not seen it because I'm still on my Twitter cleanse right now. I deleted Twitter off my phone for the week, so I have not seen some of the time I see the cringe before you send it to me, but that doesn't seem like it will be the case this week. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
We're Costco guys. We got the chicken bake. Sam's Club guys. What do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have cola ices. Hey Costco guys, what do you got?
We're Costco guys. We got a double chunk chocolate cookie. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have these pizza
This
pretzels.
is unreal.
Hey Costco guys, what do you got?
We're Costco guys. We got 25 pounds of meat. Oh, meat.
How is
Hey,
it? How is
Sam's
this
Club
not
guys, what do you
idiocracy?
got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have a 25-pound bag of long grain, water polished enriched rice. Hey Costco guys, what do you?
Why does that guy look like somebody tried to make Kanye and then it...
By the way, am I
Costco
supposed to
guys.
pretend that
We got the
Walmart doesn't
We're
exist?
Costco guys. We got the Pirate Booty Cheddar Blast. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have Doritos Baja Fiery Mango flavor. Hey Costco guys, what do you got?
Those are the most disgusting chips I've ever eaten.
How long does this go?
We're Costco guys. We got
It
the
goes.
King's
The
Hawaiian
entire
Hawaiian
itinerary
sweet roll twin
of
pack.
Costco.
With 32 rolls. Hey Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys.
They don't need to keep saying the "what do you got" part, actually, to streamline this.
You
We
should
have these
tell them that.
24-pack brioche slider buns. Hey Costco
So
guys,
you
what do
think
you
that
got?
people that
It
like
really
Art of
is,
War?
It is like somebody cloned Elad and Kanye and put them together.
So the average IQ of someone that enjoys the Art of War is 125. What is the average IQ of someone that enjoys this?
Oh, Art of War is
200.
115 for sure. Solid 115.
Respectable.
We're Costco
sorry.
guys.
This
We got the Fruit Thief.
95.
We got a 20.
95?
We got a 20 right there.
Pop Culture Junkie said Disney's strategy for dealing with negative Acolyte reviews will be used in future PR textbooks as an example of what not to do.
I mean, it got lots of PR. One of the things that we didn't cover last week was there was this innocuous article that said that it was actually the biggest Star Wars release of all time based on a generic term like internet engagement.
Which just means that a bunch of people were hate
dunking
tweeting
on
about it.
online, okay?
Yeah.
Let's continue here.
80 feet of fruit fun. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have freeze-dried strawberries that
Honestly, I'm with the Sam's Clubs guys.
I'm with the Costco guys.
I'm with the Sam's Club guys.
are 100%
I am going
strawberries.
insane.
Actively
Costco
lowering
guys,
our IQ.
what do you got?
We're Costco guys. We got jumbo plush assorted squishmallows. Hey Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We got these really cute pool buddies. Hey Costco guys, what do you
When
got?
does it
Costco
end?
guys. We got this Tommy Bahama Wood Sling Beach chair. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have these sick Baltimore Ravens chairs. Costco guys, what do you got?
Ravens
Costco
cheers!
guys. We got this woman patio swing with canopy. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
Guys, enough,
We're Sam's
please.
Club guys. We have these
I beg
amazing
you.
affordable gazebos,
We get it.
great for your backyard. Hey Costco guys, what do you got?
We're Costco guys. We got a milk fridge. Hey Sam's Club guys,
Can you
what do
tell me
you
how
got?
much is left?
We're Sam-
We're like halfway.
You're kidding!
It just kept going.
I
and
have,
going.
by the way, I have gotten a Costco membership now, so I'm not even on Team Costco here, and I have a Costco membership.
I have one too. Because of
Do you
my
guys
wife.
want to give up? Is it too
Please.
cringe?
guys.
Stop.
We have this 4-burner gas griddle.
Brad,
great for
no.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hey Costco guys, what do you
This is what Dane gets for canceling last week.
We're Costco guys. We got naked. The juice. Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We have orange juice that's squeezed fresh daily. Costco guys, what
Dude,
do you
get a
got?
We're
one.
Costco guys.
Press
We
one
got
in
the
chat
Star Wars
if this is
Oreo cookie.
legitimate
Are you on the dark
torture.
side or the light side?
The
of the force?
Star Wars
Hey, Sam's Club guys,
Oreos?
what do you got?
We're Sam's Club guys. We got this 16 flavor hot sauce challenge. Costco
I guess
guys,
it's not
what you
torture.
got?
We're
Like, everyone's
Costco
just
guys.
like-
We got all the Nutella we can handle. Costco gets a big.
Sam's Club gets a big
Boom!
Oh my god.
Someone give that kid a voice acting role
Dude,
before
how
his
much-
voice drops.
If anybody's still watching, thank you for
Thanks for
sticking
sitting
with us,
through that with
for
us.
sticking with us. I appreciate you letting me torture Dane like that.
Sam's Club guys, what do you got?
Viewers, what do you got?
Dude, what do you think you get paid to do a sponsorship like that?
Probably pretty well.
I would do it for the right amount.
All right, let's
I do
do
it for Taco Bell.
let's do cute of the day. This is from G-Dub, workout buddy, Chief, 9 weeks old. My
So tiny.
Look at
Aww.
that is
Look at that
adorable
little
thing.
fella.
Look at the panda. The panda
Look at
eyes.
That is adorable. And we'll
love
do
it.
one more here. This is from the
Aw.
Phantom. It says, this is Ponyo, and Nahi. Only 1.5 eyes, and one of them is fused to an inner eyelid. We got him from the street, and he was a sick little kitty. He is now 2 years old.
But we got a $20 super chat.
Not that Jon Stewart said, make it stop. I pay the stop tax.
Thank you.
Thank you, you hero.
Thank you
Those-
for doing that, but it's too late now.
I took an adorable picture of Mocha the other day and then deleted it off my phone because it was, I can't.
It was an
actually-
affront to your dignity.
It was.
as a man.
No evidence.
Can't allow that picture to exist. At least not on my phone. It can't exist.
Cute of the Day has been killing it lately.
Yes, they have. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we?
Yes. So you have seen the race-swapped Little Mermaid, but what I don't think you are ready for is a trans Little Mermaid. Because if Disney is going to cast a white person in any of their roles, you're going to have to make compromises. And this is it. Disney has just put out a casting call seeking transgender actors to play both Ariel and Prince Eric in an all-new Little Mermaid musical attraction at Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida.
Okay.
The role is being cast as white this time, unlike Disney's live-action remake, but there's a catch. You can't be cisgendered.
This is a degree of disbelief that Disney is expecting me to suspend. So, it's a mermaid under the sea who somehow the liberal modern discourse has reached even under the sea and
Actually, they went under the knife.
has the resources again under the sea to go through the procedure.
Well, look, I learned that mermaids were actually very special to the transgender community. They're very emblematic of trans identity because mermaids don't have genitalia.
Correct.
So I've heard from a lot of trans influencers that they say it's very special to them.
So this is- there's
to see
precedent
their
for this.
representation on screen.
So there's
in,
precedent for this.
in a mermaid. There's precedent for this, unfortunately. But the deadline for the casting call was actually today, so I'm sorry to any of our trans viewers who don't get to audition.
Look.
Here's the official casting requirements for Ariel. 18 to 30 years old, white woman, transgender woman, 5'2" to 5'6" in height, a spirited, fun-loving, yet curious mermaid princess who longs to be part of the human world. And for Eric, 18 to 30 years old, white man, transgender man. Height 5'10" to 6 feet, charismatic and fearless, Prince Eric is a true romantic who never gives up on his heart's desire.
Non-singing role.
The only requirement that you must reach, really, is being not the gender of the original character.
And like a height.
And you know,
it also kind of flies in the face of the argument that would usually be made here. The one that I, as the classical liberal here, who would like hope for the best and lose and likely be wrong, when they would say like maybe they just cast the best person for the role. That's clearly not what's happening here.
would you really have believed that without prior knowledge if they cast a trans Ariel? Genuinely?
3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, not a chance. And we already know that they're trying to inject all of this stuff into children's entertainment. But, I mean, seriously, what audience is this for? I mean, this is primarily selling tickets to parents of young children who want to see this, right?
So
Are they going to be made aware that they're essentially going to a drag show?
So statistically, women have the purchasing power in a household, and so this is why so much of modernity is catered towards women. So, fellas, I think it's time to stop saving money and start, getting a little spendy.
Sorry, honey, you don't get to hold on to the checkbook anymore.
I mean, you should have stopped giving Disney money a long time ago. It's not just about don't give money to people who hate you. Don't give money to people who can't learn their lesson ever. And I cannot believe that they're still doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this agenda when everyone knows what's going on already? Like,
I disagree.
You've been found out.
The average person doesn't know that this is going on. The average normie doesn't know that these things are going on. They will go to the stage play and not have any clue.
Sure, the average normie is not intensely aware of the discourse about all of these things, sure. But I think if they were made aware that this is what their dollars were going to, they would not support it.
Did we have the crisis party? Did it go off?
Yeah, we had our first one.
You were disassociating. It went off.
Yeah, you must have been dissociating from the cringe.
That's
it already happened. And we actually missed talking about James O'Keefe's latest installment in the Disney tapes, but he is Project Veritas style, Chris Hansen style, exposing every last Disney executive on a Bumble date.
Here is Jeannie Gurnani, creative marketing director at Disney Entertainment Television.
Also a drag queen, by the way.
I left that part out.
Jeannie Gurnani, the creative marketing director at Disney, was asked about allowing LGBTQ content to be shown to children. Jeannie agreed that he wants children to see the content and that it is, quote, the unspoken thing.
I despise those kind of people that want to accuse of Disney of grooming children, but I also want children to see LGBTQ content. Don't you agree? Yeah, of course.
Look, that was a bit leading. I mean, I feel like the women interviewers were doing it better, but maybe I'm wrong here.
Yeah, that's the unspoken thing. Am I going to see a drag queen at Disneyland or anything like that? Do you want to do that? Get a drag queen at Disneyland. That'd be cool. That would be cool. I'm sure that would happen at some point.
When asked by our OMG undercover journalist if he would authorize drag queens to be present at Disneyland, where children are, mind you, Jeannie the drag queen said, well, he would love to, and it will happen at some point. From classic Disney princesses to drag queens, the transformation of children's programming at the Walt Disney Company is happening.
And we talked about another story where this family went to one of the Disney parks, and one of the actors playing the evil queen happened to be a transgender identifying male playing one of these female characters. And when the father went up and asked about it and said, like, is that person female? They were like, we're not allowed to talk about that. They just... I swear, it's the meme that's like, I swear I won't get political at dinner. And every Disney executive is like, I swear I won't expose my entire company for malpractice and breaking federal law. Me after one espresso martini on my Hinge date with James O'Keefe's undercover journalist. So yeah, we are pushing drag queens on children and we love it. And this person, by the way, the fact that your creative marketing director moonlights as a drag queen says enough about the person. Like, that person should have been fired years ago when this all started popping off.
Yeah.
I think it was mainly in 2022 that people really started talking about what Disney is up to.
And look, there was an article and there was speeches from Bob Iger not that long ago saying that they were going to pull back on stuff involving the culture war. Everyone who pays any attention to any of this stuff knew that that wasn't true, that this is a ship that is on its way towards an iceberg and you can't really turn it around.
Even if Bob Iger genuinely believes that, all of his underlings are true believers in this. They're not going to surrender unless you axe them all in like a mass firing situation.
It's kind of like how I always talk about when Trump talks about taking out the deep state. I'm like, you do know that that's impossible, right?
Like, your cabinet is the deep state, bro.
I think we're missing the greater issue in this video, and it's, how are you on a first date and you're like trauma dumping to this degree? Like, it literally takes one drink and a wink for me like, hey, do you want to hear the Machiavellian scheme that I'm up to?
Yeah, literally. It's like, I'm always like, you're on a first date with this person you just met, and they won't ask you any questions about your family, any questions about your hobbies.
This guy was even more pointed than the women. The women were at least a little bit more like...
Dude, the CNN guy was unreal. He was like, guys, climate change, you won't believe it. We're like...
Yeah, and in the prior ones that they were doing with straight Disney executives on dates with the women, they still just spilled their guts with relatively no effort And the one guy was like, yeah, we just won't hire a white person for this production.
Yeah.
And he, got confronted by James O'Keefe face to face, Chris Hansen style, and was literally on an on foot and then car chase.
Oh, I saw that one.
Like,
he was running with the laptop like this.
It's absolutely pathetic.
Men, she's not that into you, or she works for James O'Keefe.
Yeah, unfortunately.
She's not that into you, she works for James O'Keefe.
I also noticed when we were watching the recent episode of The Acolyte last night.
Oh, yeah.
That they decided to cast a trans-identifying male as one of the lesbian witches in the lesbian witch commune on planet Brendock. And I recognized the face from somewhere, but I clocked it immediately. This is trans YouTuber of Philosophy Tube, who identifies as a woman named Abigail Thorne.
That's Philosophy Tube?
This is Philosophy Tube playing one of the lesbian witches in The Acolyte.
Okay.
Because nothing is sacred. Not even a lesbian witch commune.
Yep.
It's just like, do you think I'm not going to notice? I know, like you said, you didn't notice.
I don't even remember the scene you're talking
about. But the second it happened, this person had like a 2-word line.
Okay.
The second I heard it, I was like, that's a man.
I didn't even what line was it?
I don't even remember it, but you know that they only put this person in the show because they're trans.
Yes.
That's the annoying
They weren't
thing.
hired because of their acting chops.
You really think that you're gonna hoodwink me?
Yeah.
Like, I noticed that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, didn't they put Lizzo in The Mandalorian?
They put Lizzo in The Mandalorian.
And Jack Black.
It never ends.
I mean, Jack Black is an actual actor. So
I know, but it was odd.
Like,
It was like-
Bill Burr just shows up, and I'm like, huh. Well, all right then.
What's the deal with?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Seinfeld. Never mind.
All right.
Okay,
Let's
let's
go
read
super
some super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Wednesday, Brett, Mary, and Dane. Sorry about the logophobia meme, Mary. Can you tell your Fed buddies to quit tailing me now, please?" I haven't seen the logophobia meme, but it might trigger my logophobia. He also said, "I literally had a white van with no windows and government plates follow me the 14 miles to work. Call your dogs off, Mary. I'll only make fun of Brett." Do you think the feds are...
I mean, we both had parents that worked for the government, so it could be from either of us.
The feds are searching for crisis actors.
But Mary just said the other day that 20% of the U.S. is employed by the government, so that's not even that great of a statistics.
That's a lot.
1/5 of the nation is a Fed.
Yeah. Mr. Joker said, "Mary, you aren't Crazy Town Banana Pants. The classy Chupo logo after Rugrats and Wild Thornberries was terrifying. There's even a scary logo wiki for it." Wait, there's a scary logo wiki? I think I found my people. Like, I was looking at the Bad Robot one and you were like, I don't get it. Like, why do you think it's scary?
I don't find any of them scary.
How do you not find it scary is my question.
Don't find them scary.
And also, I don't know if any of you guys are going to remember this one, but the end title logo on any episode of Jimmy Neutron was this 3-eyed monkey who stared at the camera and said, "Hi, I'm Paul." That one gave me nightmares.
I like
why
they all.
Why is
they're
this a
all
thing?
They're all memorable.
I know the point of it is that it's supposed to be memorable, but in the worst way possible.
Just do one more.
Okay, Cora Nelson said something that I cannot pronounce in Spanish.
But then says, "Sup, Brett, Mary,
Sup,
and
Brett,
Dane."
Mary, and Dane.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact. Time to talk about Bobbi Althoff.
Yes. So we've talked about Bobbi Althoff on the show before, but if you were unaware, she is a satirical podcaster, the host of the Really Good podcast or the Really Great podcast. And she rose to fame because she, as a nobody, just started interviewing all of these massive celebrities and rappers.
And everybody said she's a plant.
She was an industry plant, there's no question about it. And then she got signed to a talent agency, and it seemed like everything was looking up for her. But then, because the fame was too alluring, she decided to initiate a divorce from her husband, with whom she has 2 daughters who are very young. Yes.
Okay, I thought it was just one.
And interestingly enough, she is only 26 years old, and at this point in her life has decided to start all over again and start acting like a college girl who is binge drinking every weekend and hanging out with a bunch of strange men. And most recently, TMZ posted a video of her at a Nashville bar, actually the Barstool Sports bar.
I didn't know there was an actual Barstool
Drunk
Sports bar.
off her ass. So drunk that she had to be carried out by NFL player Sean Murphy Bunting.
Well, look, what can happen to anybody?
Can it happen to anybody?
Let he who is drunk and...
I mean,
no, let's look at the video.
To be fair, I've been dragged out of places, but I've also...
Never carried, though.
I've been... But never... I don't have any kids, so...
Let's look at the video.
That you know of.
Yeah. That I know of. Not getting copyrighted on this shit.
It's weird. You never see her express emotion like this.
You know,
the alcohol is overriding the Prozac.
You know what puzzles me is people are always asking like, why is she famous? She's a hot white chick with nice cans. Like, I don't know. Like, mystery solved, guys. You're welcome.
Okay, goddamn.
What is this? Why are they playing patty cake?
So here she is.
Literally being carried over the shoulder,
yep,
like in a fireman's carry, and brought down an alleyway. Like, what is this?
Whoa,
where are they going?
I've seen this movie. It never ends well.
Ugh.
Okay. All right. Oh wait, some more.
She can't handle her liquor.
Yep. This is a country song waiting to happen.
And they're hopping in the oob. And we can only guess what happened after that.
And I'm guessing that your problem here is that this is a woman who has 2 young children and she should be home with her kids.
I mean, yeah, obviously. It's just, it's really sad because she clearly got a huge ego off of blowing up in the public eye and getting all of this attention, especially a bunch of male attention. And she decided that, you know, she needed to live her single life that she never got a chance to live.
I love
and in a sense, she's abandoned her children for this.
Hard Factor News responded with this.
I tweeted, this is why we need a term like man-child for women. And then everyone was like, it's just woman. It's just, or they said it was hoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, the essential story is picking fame and clout over something that will last, which is your family and your marriage. And evidently she didn't even have a bad relationship with her husband, because after the divorce, she made a statement about it saying, you know, I couldn't be happier than to co-parent with someone like this. We still have so much respect for each other, blah, blah, blah. But clearly you didn't respect him all that much if you wanted to pursue binge drinking and podcasting over being married.
Is this the female version of like the husband who, when he's famous, breaks up with his first wife and then marries the hot younger wife? Except for she's not breaking up with her husband for another guy. She's breaking up with him for internet fame.
I mean, usually the archetype is the other way around, though.
That's what I'm saying. Is this the female version of that?
Yeah, but usually the archetype is the woman, right? Because women initiate most of the divorces.
No, but he's talking about a archetype, not like it's statistically
I'm not saying
more
it's
likely.
like that's most. I'm saying like a certain type of rich dude doesn't even marry women. He leases them
Which is
every
why,
5
like,
years.
people look at someone like Harrison Butker, for instance, who is with his middle school sweetheart.
Yeah.
And we love to see stories like that because he got famous and rich and didn't let it get to his head.
Exactly.
Stays humble and stays loyal to his family and his children. But that's not what we see here.
Yeah.
And I actually got pushback for saying that this was inappropriate behavior for a mother. And someone said, imagine being in your 20s and strangers on the internet acting like you're supposed to be a housewife because you made the dumb decision of getting married way too young. People are mad that Bobbi Althoff is acting her age. And by the way, she is 26. Another person said, everyone making fun of Bobbi Althoff for getting blackout and getting carried out of a bar has never been 26, apparently.
I mean, the point isn't 26. The point is 26 with kids.
I mean, regardless of whether you have kids, I don't think that you should be getting blackout drunk at bars and getting carried out by random strangers.
I got plenty blackout at 26, but I didn't have kids to go home to.
Also, from the perspective of any woman who, you know, has a sense of maintaining her personal safety, that is just a bad decision all around. But it's especially undignified that she is choosing this lifestyle over being with her children. because this is what she's doing all the time. I'm not really seeing her doing anything normal with her children. I guess that's just not being publicized, or that's not.
I mean, it's
people
fair
want to
point
see a
out
train wreck.
That, you know, if like she could have a perfectly good relationship with her kids that's not being shown because she doesn't want to put her kids online. And
Although I
that's fine.
highly doubt that, because she sacrificed attending her child's birthday party to podcast with Drake in his hotel bedroom. So forgive me if I'm making uncharitable assumptions, but to me, it seems like she is not prioritizing her children. She is prioritizing gallivanting around with rappers and football players and getting drunk.
Yeah.
And it's undignified regardless of how old you are. It has nothing to do with her being in her 20s. And just because you're in your 20s doesn't mean that you get to waste all of your time without people criticizing you for it.
Yeah, and the comments seem to fall in line with what you're saying, right? So don't take this as like a left or right thing, because like, that's not to assume that the people who are responding to this post, this is from some random account, right? This is not some right-wing Twitter account, at least not that I know of, that's talking about this. These are just normal people who say, if you've got kids at home, it might not be the best thing in the world for you to be out getting blackout drunk and, you know, caught lacking by TMZ cameras.
She's just speed running her downfall at this point, at such a young age too. I'm not.
I mean, did the fame? I mean, is this a result of the fame? Did getting famous that quickly do this to her? I mean, it's a very intoxicating thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just if you don't have a deeper foundation of values,
but the thing
this
is
where it's going to head.
And that's the problem, right? It would have to go even deeper than just having a family, right? Because she had the family, but the values would have to run even deeper than just that, because she had the family and then decided that she wanted to do this instead.
Yeah, and it's ironic because when we were originally talking about Bobbi Althoff, you know, becoming famous, I said that it's cool that she's married and has kids and is 26.
Yes. Yep.
Because you really don't even see that very often from people in the public eye. But she decided to follow suit with the rest of the people in this industry.
Also, 20s, I mean, at least for me personally, 21 and 26 could not be any more like diametrically different.
Definitely.
You know, there's this like Blink 182 song, is Nobody Likes You When You're 23. And it's a lyric, it's not the song. But the spirit of that lyric is that there comes an age, at least for men, when you're like a rambunctious young man, it stops being cute. You know, and nobody likes you because it's like, okay, now it's time to get serious and assume your role in the universe to be a provider to some degree.
Yeah, I did not know that.
To self-actualize in some sense.
In some sense, correct. And so that was 23. And this is 26, and so it's like 5 years, and so like a bunch of decisions, and I think it's associated with 23 because that's when you're like likely to graduate and start working and all this. This is like 5 years or like 3 years after that, and we're regressing into childish behaviors.
There's a comedian, like an internet comedian named Adoseph Buckley, who used to do musical autopsies, and he'd make fun of songs, and he was making fun of the song 22 by Taylor Swift, where he's talking about what you actually do at 22. It's like pay bills, go to work, do all of these things. Look, I was not a mature person at 26, at least not in the same sense. I was still traveling a lot for skating, doing a lot. I guess that's technically kind of work at the time and stuff like that, right? But it was a lot of, you know, partying at night and going out with friends and stuff like that. But that was part of the culture that I was in. But I was not ready to settle down or anything like that. But for guys, it's different than girls age-wise. Though I'd say these days it seems like more and more people are putting off maturing in general. But she already chose the path of family and stuff like that. So it's not really even a sane comparison. If this was just a regular 26-year-old woman, I wouldn't say that it was required for her to settle down. I would be a little bit critical about, like, you know, maybe going out and making some unsafe decisions that might hurt you, you know, partying with strangers and stuff like that. But I'm not going to pearl clutch about a woman going out and getting blackout drunk at a nightclub. But, you know, if you've got kids at home, you're at least going to have to accept that there are going to be people that are going to have critiques of what you're doing.
And it's not just, you know, about safety. It's also about having a sense of honor and, you know, the fact that we live in a society without any social shaming. And
we need a "we live in a society" button.
If you have children, you have a legacy, and what you do reflects on the people that are closest to you. Mm-hmm. It's very shameful to behave this way even as a single woman, but to behave this way while you have a family at home, where you have your crying husband taking care of your children for you, is especially dishonorable.
I think there might be a bit of a social gap here. Like, if you were to ask the average normie person, I don't think they would see it that way.
Well, I also just don't understand why she couldn't have had both. Like, she was having both for a long time. Like, you can be married and you can have kids, and you can, you know, pursue interviewing rappers if that's what you really want to do. And that's what was working for her for a time. But I think it's really the male attention that she got that led her astray to this point. Like, that was the thing that lured her out of that long-term relationship.
She looks like she would be a secondary character in a 2000s movie that would build RC cars in her free time.
It's very specific profiling.
That's what she looks like to me. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on. Let's do some super chats.
Red Snow said, Brett, who is your favorite from House's team?
You can't reset the clock because I did not initiate the House discussion today, ladies and gentlemen. The show House. Chase had the best arc. Foreman was the one who pushed back on House the most, which I always liked because he was basically a robot, and I enjoyed that part of it. But I think Taub being like a 5 foot tall ladies man that was balding was always hilarious to me, and literally it was the meme. Have you ever seen the meme where like Ned Flanders is like this and the women are like grinding on him?
Oh yeah,
he's literally that guy. Like he's got a wife at home and he just can't stay away. So probably Taub.
Pop Culture Junkie said, both of you have great editorial judgment as to what you pick for the show. You save me having to go through so much sludge daily, and you pick things that play to your strengths. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's sweet.
You should leave that as a 5-star review on iTunes.
Yeah, well, it's Apple Podcasts. iTunes is dead.
I'm going to say...
Also, you can give us a 5-star review on Spotify as well.
We should read those one day.
Well, we have. We mostly went for the mean ones.
Let's do one more.
Said, Gladiator is my all-time favorite movie. It's bad enough they're making a stupid sequel. What's even worse is that instead of trying to save Rome, they want to burn it down.
Brett, I've never seen it. I feel like it's a dude flick.
It's been so long. Like I was.
Well, it's also a chick flick if you're into Russell Crowe.
I think it came out the year before I graduated high school. I remember the music more than I remember the film, and obviously the line.
Oh, and I was like, "Are you not entertained?
Are you not diversified?"
Yeah, that was what people were saying. Yeah, it's
Are you not gentrified?
I will have to rewatch it at some point here. It didn't speak heavily to me, but that wasn't the genre that I was big into at the time. But I have seen it. Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact.
Yeah, so it's common knowledge that Flirting Is Dead, and Gen Z killed it, unfortunately. And we already know that Gen Z is stunted in a variety of ways. They're not reaching the milestones that we expect young adults to reach. And in dating, it's even more pronounced. Essentially, flirting is dying, according to one of their interviewees here. If someone thinks you're cute, they just ask for your Instagram these days and then DM you or swipe up on your story to show that they're interested. And before that, now that Snapchat is outdated, that's not a thing anymore, but people would ask for your Snapchat instead of your phone number, which I've always maintained is a red flag.
My favorite is when it's like the memes that say like what girls expect when I respond with the fire emoji on her stories.
Like it's so beta. Like I know that women don't reject men graciously these days, but I think that
really?
I mean, I don't have personal experience being the guy in that situation, so I don't know. But I know that women can be nasty about rejecting advances these days, but it's so much worse to surrender yourself to swiping up on someone's story and sending a fire emoji than just going up and talking to someone. I know it's a meme at this point, but it would be worth the payoff.
One of my favorite Instagram videos of all time. You know who Jordan the Stallion is, the guy who makes the videos? He has this one where he reacts to this video where somebody says, like, the worst that she can say is no. And he goes, oh, no. Oh, hell no. He goes, I once went up to a girl and asked her to junior prom, and she just looked at me and said, that must have been very difficult for you.
I think that women need a master class in rejecting graciously.
Yeah. Honestly, like, jokes aside, I think the worst that I've ever been rejected was like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Okay,
in fairness,
this is really not that bad.
Yeah, I know.
It depends on the situation.
Perfectly.
Maybe
reasonable.
Gen Z women are worse about it than millennial women. I have no idea.
Lack of social skills in general.
They also complain that men are bad texters and have abysmal pickup lines, and there is an entire Instagram account dedicated to awful DMs.
Listen.
Through these. It might not let us because I'm not logged into Instagram here.
Everyone is a bad texter because back in the Bachelor days, I remember when I tried Bumble, and chicks would reach out first, and it would be like, "Do you like sandwiches?" I'm like, "I hate you."
That sucks.
Do I like sandwiches?
Well, here are some. Please enjoy the most baffling excuse ever for why a guy wants to send dick pics. He said, I have body dysmorphia, so for me to be proud of any part of my body is a miracle, haha.
The haha is the best part of that.
Ha-ha.
The haha at the end. I was a person who used to haha a lot on the internet, and I've transitioned over to LOL.
To hee-hee.
To LOL.
There's another one.
I'm a sucker for a successful woman. You go, girl. I like my women seasoned, if you understand the term as in mentally.
What?
Yeah. There was another one that was like, self-love is like, everyone deserves to love themselves. Can you send me a picture of your arse? Like,
but okay, the other point of this was they're saying like women they don't want men to try to pick them up in public, but they also yearn for the days pre-social media. Those
says Gen
can't exist at the same time.
Gen Z yearns for pre-digital dating, but don't ask them out in person.
So what the hell does that mean?
In this very article, they interview a 23-year-old girl, and she says that she watched this scene in Sex and the City where a character gets asked out in an elevator, and she said, I wish I lived during that time. I guess people just didn't have social media, so if you saw someone you thought was attractive, you just had to say something. But it says, even her, who yearns for the more direct approach, says she would be weirded out if someone asked her out in person. Quote, I would probably say no because it's so uncommon.
Listen, here's my piece of advice for the men and the ladies that like the ladies. When it's something about boundaries, always respect that. But beyond that, completely disregard a woman when she tells you she likes something. Completely disregard. If it's like, don't do this, don't do it. But if it's something like,
I don't like this.
It's like, you don't know that.
Reward the behavior that you want to see, though. From the woman's perspective, if you are bemoaning the fact that men don't ask women out in person anymore, first of all, don't be a bitch when it happens to you. And second of all, she's just concluding before it even happens that she's going to reject it.
That's true, but I also understand the like the feeling of the audacity of you just speaking to me.
I don't understand that at all.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just a
especially
piece
because
of shit.
Like, guys talk about how it's so hard to work up the courage to do so. Like, why would I shoot someone down in an unnecessarily cruel way for doing that? Even if I'm not interested, it's not like they could have known that beforehand.
This is definitely like a cultural difference because I am Hispanic and...
Well, I mean, from a guy's perspective, if a woman made the first move, is that kind of...
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like...
You'd say yes?
No.
I mean,
No?
if it were...
I would wonder why they were...
When I was unmarried.
The one asking.
But,
right, it's puzzling.
It is puzzling. I think that's the key word. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
You know?
and I think that's also why women don't want to make the first move and never have. It's just not in our nature. But it's also we're in a dire situation right now. We're in a dating recession, the experts say.
What was it?
And sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures.
60 million single people here in the U.S. That's a gold rush, isn't
60 million single adults currently in the U.S., whereas we only had 47 million in 2017.
Look left, look right. You'll find somebody that's single. Go ask.
I think the first time it happened to me where a chick was very forward with me, she was very weird. And she basically said, like, the human imperative is to reproduce. And I was like, we're 16.
Oh, she was definitely autistic.
Yeah. But like
she was like, her eyes were super wide. You could see the whites on either side.
She was like, I'm not weird. It's the human imperative to desire to reproduce. I'm like, I'm not mature enough to engage with this conversation even remotely.
Here is the worst part about dating apps being the mainstream way to meet people is nobody has, it's essentially anti-vulnerability.
Yes.
So here's what they say. Receiving a like or matching with another person on a dating app shows that the person is undoubtedly interested in you. But when flirting with someone in real life, there's no giveaway for guaranteed interest. Recalling a time she didn't realize her interest was reciprocated until the guy she was attempting to flirt with asked for her Instagram handle. Our generation has been so online that when it comes to talking to people, it's a bit scary, says the founder of a singles event company, We Met IRL. Now, I have never seen or been to a speed dating event, but it sounds like another circle of hell that we haven't uncovered yet. And I went to the We Met IRL page. This says, our mission is a relationship building organization that hosts speed dating events, mixers, and social gatherings with diversity in mind. Our mission is to create environments that encourage romantic or platonic connections offline, and we do this by facilitating safe spaces for meaningful conversations. We've already heard diversity and safe spaces, social interactions, and good times. Because of the isolation imposed by the pandemic, more and more people expressed their wish to meet people in real life. We Met IRL is a response to this.
There you go. Here, now somebody can reset the clock on the House reference book. There is an episode
where Chase is just like crushing.
Where House, Wilson, and Chase go to a speed dating thing, and House bets Chase $100 that if he acts like a complete idiot, he'll still get cards from like everyone. And he's like, you can't be a doctor. You're kind of slow and dumb. And he still gets names from all the people, because House goes to Wilson. He goes, why did you bring Chase here? He goes, when you go to a speed dating event, you bring your ugly friends. And Chase goes, I'm not that good looking. He goes, yeah, you are.
You know, another thing that's stunting dating right now is people don't walk around with business cards.
Yes. Yep.
Dude, a business card? You think that would work with chicks? Like,
people used to carry business cards. Yep. It's so much better than handing someone your phone.
This is a look into the psychology of Mary Morgan. Really? Do you think that would have raised you up?
I mean, I'm just saying it's way less socially awkward than asking someone for their Instagram or Snapchat.
I'm not insulting you. I just find it very interesting that would have.
I mean, is that not true? Like,
pull out like you pull out a QR code for them to scan.
It's like writing your phone number on a cocktail napkin. Yeah. You know, like something that's a little more tangible.
Did you ever see that?
Here's my Snapchat.
I don't know, dude.
That thing that used to go. It went viral on Twitter a few times, where like a woman is getting talked to by a guy at a coffee shop, and the coffee shop workers bring her a second coffee, and they like, if you need help, go to the bathroom or something.
No,
like
the barista. It was a male barista. He was probably a male feminist. He wrote on a napkin, like, if you feel unsafe, move your ponytail to the other side and I'll ask him to leave. He's even creeping me out. Yeah. Like, that's another thing. The language of calling men creeps has done irreparable damage to the male psyche, especially in Gen Z, to the point where they have just sworn off approaching. I mean, even calling it approaching makes it sound predatory. Why do we call it that? It's just talking to another person. We don't need to overcomplicate it that much.
There's 30 to 40 years of television of portraying men this way that has done unbelievable damage.
But every woman knows the difference between a creep and a non-creep. Yep. Because of our intuition.
Here's the thing is though, like, it's all about perspective, right? So when you watch this on TV, it's all about how the woman perceives it. Now, no guy is going to be able to bet 100% that when he goes up and tries to talk to a woman without being prompted, that she's not going to see it that way. He doesn't know, and he's not going to take the risk.
I mean, this is going to sound really cold-hearted to a lot of guys, but like you really have to make the calculation of your looks, wealth, general demeanor, hygiene, charisma. You gotta be realistic and run a number, and then run a number on the lady that you're trying to court, with the understanding that chicks don't necessarily always go for the guy that's equal in looks, but you gotta have some riz to back it up, and make your assessments with the best of your ability.
We're in a Riz recession.
A recession.
A recession.
A recession.
Yeah.
There is a Riz shortage. And again, I want to harp on this. The lack of vulnerability is a huge problem in modern dating. The fact that you need to use an app to confirm that someone is interested in you before you make any moves or try to speak to them or meet with them in real life, it says everything about the problem here.
Yep.
Because it would be not easier, but more effective to feel a vibe.
But the thing is, people can't read body language anymore.
What, everyone just suddenly woke up and had autism all of a sudden?
It's got nothing to do with that. It's been a struggle for a long time, and it goes into millennials. It's worse with Gen Z, but it goes into millennials. I used to make the joke. I said I think the CIA invented emojis because people can't read facial expressions anymore, so they need like drastic examples of what someone's face looks like when they're feeling something. I'm half kidding about that, but what I'm saying is that, like, look, it's very easy to have a discussion with someone and then not be able to pick up on necessarily what they're feeling about it, especially if you're not having regular real world conversations outside of maybe the benign, inane conversations you have at work. Right? If you're not actually experiencing the real world where you're interacting with people that you don't normally talk to and have a rapport with, you're not necessarily going to be able to pick up on those types of coded, aspects of our culture.
If people are single and if someone is unhappy with the fact that they're single, they like to tell themselves a flattering story about why that is.
Like what?
So for women, they're going to tell themselves a more flattering story, which is that, oh, men these days are trash.
They're intimidated by me.
They're intimidated by my power as a woman and blah, blah, blah. They're intimidated by me because I'm so hot, etc. The list goes on. And then, the flattering story that a lot of single men are telling themselves these days, and I've gotten a lot of pushback for saying this, is that they don't go up to women because they're afraid of getting Me Too'd. That is not the case. If you think that, you're telling yourself a flattering story. You are just timid and afraid of rejection, which is an understandable worry, but you got to overcome. No one that you walk up to at a bar is going to launch a lawsuit against you for sexual assault. If you're worried about that, it's probably because you're trying to hop into bed with someone that you just met.
Yeah, which you shouldn't do.
Which you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It might be... I agree with what you're saying, but I also see the circumstances where, like, this is... it's getting pretty dicey. Like, for example, if you like someone and you work with them and there's a vibe, it's like... Things can go like so terribly.
Oh yeah.
Like the risk assessments.
HR harpies have ruined meeting spouses through work.
HR, other coworkers, then losing your livelihood.
Things get complicated. I won't deny that.
Right. So there's I agree that you're mostly right, but there's definitely
But to act like, if I go up to this random chick in a bar, I'm gonna get Me Too. It's like, come on. Like, let's just be real.
But don't meet chicks at bars.
Whatever.
Right.
I mean, it's worked for some people. I mean, think about life before social media. Where did you go? You probably went to a bar, or you met someone that you work with. That's how it usually happened.
I'm a child.
Or you met someone that your friends recommended to you.
I'm a child of the internet, so I met my wife online.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to say on that regard, but we began an analog is the word, and we began turning our relationship analog as quick as possible, and that usually was how it worked with people that I ended up in relationships. Like, you seem interesting, and after like an hour chit chat, I was like, hey, let's meet in person or on a call or whatever. Like progressively more analog quickly. Whereas what I feel that's the issue with like younger generations is they just keep it there for so long, and when people are exclusively digital, the a lot of people, they have their digital facade versus their real life persona. And when the two meet, it's like, I was being rejected because girls have this high standards. Like, no, because, you're a disingenuous asshole in person. So...
Or your online Riz doesn't match your real world Riz.
Yeah.
Which is a thing. Like, some people don't have, the immediate charismatic recollection of humor.
Situationships
I'm
are
6
a whole
feet
other...
tall online.
Is that correct?
You mentioned like people keeping it, at a certain stage that's indefinitely stretched out for a period of time that it doesn't make any sense and it's not going to progress anywhere. And like, that's a situationship. And situationships are an entirely other can of worms.
Yep.
But again, if someone is in a situationship and they're not happy with that, they're going to tell themselves a story as to why that is. And usually it's because the woman wants commitment and the guy doesn't. And she's going to tell herself, oh no, like I'm just playing the field. Like I'm just casual. I'm not looking for a relationship right now. But the truth is, if that guy wanted to commit to you in a second, you would be jumping at the opportunity. But they're prioritizing the wrong things.
All right, let's go Super Chats.
All right. Shane H. Wilder said, seems like all of these sequels to decades-old movies are just going after member berries. Sadly, they never hit what we love about the originals.
I mean, people like Blade Runner 2049, right? But that's like the exception, not the rule.
I want to see it. Aesthetically, it's the kind of movie I like.
Well, it had a Joker effect, too, because of the memes about it. Daniel G. said, millennial culture peaked at 4chan pizza raids. You either die a Napoleon Dynamite or live long enough to become an Uncle Rico.
Wow. That was the most terminally online thing I've heard.
Kino Corner might be the only person who understood all of that.
4chan pizza raids?
No idea.
I don't know. I'm assuming that refers to doxing people. Shane H. Wilder said, psst, buddy, you need bricks? I got bricks.
Yeah, I've got Lego bricks. Yeah, exactly.
No Diggity said, bro, I go to Caribou. That's my go-to. You're breaking my heart, man.
Look, I'm just saying.
Every Caribou stan in the chat was offended when you said that.
What's Caribou?
Exactly.
You never seen it?
Exactly. Better color scheme than Starbucks.
What is it?
It's just a
coffee place.
Random off-brand coffee shop.
I wouldn't call it off-brand. It's got
Well, if it's not Starbucks, it's off-brand. I'm okay with that. I get my iced coffee from McDonald's.
Listen, America runs on Dunkin'.
Surinko Productions said, racism!
That was during the Affleck segment.
She's literally gasping for air. She's going to faint. Gordon Shumway said...
And then she'll blame COVID when it happens. She won't blame the fact that she said 10,000 words in a row without taking a breath.
Racism, fatphobia. Gordon Shumway said, happy hump day, Balthazar and Marmaduke. What up, Mr. Font?
Yo.
Balthazar. I'll take it.
I can't. Shane H. Wilder said, damn, she got all of the groups out in one breath with a face mask. This chick has a breathing problem. She never learned how to breathe while speaking.
Truly.
There is a skill set that I still haven't mastered to, speaking long form in this type of setting where you're giving a speech and something like that. It absolutely is something you have to learn how to do.
It's funny that we do this for 2 hours a day, and I would still feel nervous about public speaking in front of a real audience.
Yep, me too.
No Diggity said, I just spent money for a super chat when I could have used it for Caribou.
That is true. You could have.
Just to debunk your Caribou slander.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen a caribou.
I don't think they have them out here.
Yeah, I haven't seen
I've never seen them out here. Well, like when you go to the Mall of America, it's Caribous, and I think there's Starbucks at some and Caribous at others, and they're like.
Does the Mall of America have a rainforest cafe?
Yes.
I want to go to Rainforest Cafe.
They did.
I remember being 12 and being like, "This is the peak of culture."
I loved. Well, actually, no. Here's another one of my weird phobias. Every time I went to Rainforest Cafe as a little kid, I was terrified that one of the animatronic gorillas that was on the rafters was going to jump down and attack me.
Perfectly reasonable fear.
There's a lot to unpack.
How was I supposed to know?
Perfectly
There's
reasonable.
a lot to unpack there, I feel.
I was afraid of Harambe before Harambe even existed.
Yeah, well.
Shane H. Wilder said, base choice, no diggity.
Yep.
What a great name.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, "What is a diggity? A question pondered to this day."
It was a song. No Diggity was a song by Blackstreet in the late 90s.
But what is a diggity? What is a diggity?
No Diggity said, "Ugh, you did it again. Curse you, Burnt. I'm going to Caribou and will keep listening. Oh, hi, Mary and Dane. So great to have you here."
It means no doubt.
Oh.
It's literally what he says in the song. No diggity, no doubt.
He also said, "A diggity, a good question for Caribou Coffee Chat."
There you go.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, "How many diggities could a Diddy diggity if Diddy didn't see Dig Dug diggities?"
Nice. I don't know, but he's guilty, so it doesn't matter.
John Quixote said, "On yesterday's topic of filming in Canada to save money, Reacher season 3 is currently filming here in St. John's, Newfoundland, doubling for Portland."
It's actually Newfoundland.
Oh.
Got him.
Got it.
Go watch the show Republic of Doyle. It's almost all actors who were born in St. John's, Newfoundland, and it takes place.
They
in St.
actually
John's.
were?
A lot of them were, yeah.
Huh.
And then
Sorry.
And the show takes place in St. John's, Newfoundland, and they say words like pally.
No Diggity said, "No Diggity didn't do it, but Diddy did."
There you go.
Thanks for clearing that up for us.
Yep.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, "Nobody ever talks about positive review bombing." Is that a thing?
I mean, like, look, the people who love these things are just as fanatical as the people. Look, are you telling me that a person that hates the Acolyte is any more likely to review bomb than a person with like a picture of Smilo Ren in their profile picture and their account name is like Acolyte fan XOXO? XX.
But I just
they're
want
compromised.
I just want to say this is another point where I am once again omniscient, and I knew this was gonna happen. When in the beginning of PCC, when we were having the conversations about like Disney and Fast and Furious and Disney and Star Wars, I was gonna be like, that's an interesting analogy because Star Wars is gonna become the Fast and Furious of like dork.
See, that's
drama.
the thing. Bobbi Althoff should have taken Vin Diesel's advice and chosen family.
And nice. And ironically, Fast and Furious is far more dignified than whatever the hell Star Wars has become.
By far. I mean, actually, like,
by far.
The sad thing is like everyone would make jokes about Fast and Furious going to outer space, and they finally did. And that's the one film, like, as memeable as the movie is now, that's the one I like the least, and all the rest of them I enjoy thoroughly. So. Which is funny because we're in the middle of watching the show Las Vegas, and it was made by this guy named Gary Scott Thompson, who then went on to make the first Fast and the Furious movies. Now he's probably just makes bank because all the other movies have been made by other people. But they're based on his character.
In what movie did Hannah Claire just tap out and pretend that she didn't make a wager?
Oh, she was like 3 in.
3 or 4. Yeah, I think she got into she says like there's weird incest in the third one, and I tapped out after that.
There was.
Yeah.
No Diggity said, "Forget Caribou. I'm going to Costco now."
There you go.
Oh, God.
Does Costco have iced coffee?
What do you got?
Costco guys. Caribou guys.
So now
what do you got?
Now they need to get a Target and Walmart sponsorship.
They need to do a Caribou versus
Starbucks. And Dunkin' can do one with Baskin Robbins.
Me and my wife had like a 1-hour conversation where we were glazing Walmart for saving our lives when we were poor. We were like, dude, remember when you can only afford Walmart? And I was like, yeah.
I still like
now
Walmart.
It's all overpriced.
Yeah. It's all expensive.
Omega Red Fan said, "Disney should say make cake with hate." What?
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Shane H. Wilder said, "As a Sam's Club guy, we also have 25 pounds of meat and a milk fridge. Also, breaded salmon that are essentially salmon chicken nuggies."
That sounds
disgusting. A worthy argument. What do you mean?
Brett just doesn't eat fish because he's a child.
You don't like fish sticks?
I don't eat anything from the water. You guys are disgusting.
I guess you're a gay fish.
I guess you're disgusting.
Not eating seafood makes you a child.
No, it makes me smart.
Oh, Mary Morgan with the truth.
It's the truth.
Once again.
This guy eats multiple bowls of cereal
at a time. Yeah.
Like, come on.
At least you're
We're
wrong
listening
with
to this guy?
Listen, whatever you eat at your own home, something.
Whatever you eat in the privacy of your own home
is your own business.
Yeah, white people are inferior because they have less melanin in their skin.
Whoa.
Tubby Nanners said boom.
Boom.
High Vulture 75 said boom. Well, we need 3 more booms if we're going to make it to 5 booms out of 5 booms. Marco said, we're Costco guys. We got $1.50 hot dogs with a drink.
Boom!
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 Guys, get us to a third crisis party so we can boom more.
We're going to boom for each crisis party.
By the way, you know, my appearances here have brought me nothing but torturous content from the internet, because every time someone follows me, it's either like 5% is like, hey, I really appreciate your opinions on pop culture crisis, which, like, thank you. The other 95% is like, oh, you said you dislike this, here it is.
Proof that the majority is always right.
Like someone...
Oh, you dislike this? You're a horrible person.
No, it's not even that. It's like, oh, here's pineapple pizza. Oh, here's the boom guys. Where, not this one, but the video before this, 5 people sent it to me.
Oh.
I was like...
Did you watch it?
Boom!
As always, I just watched the first 3 seconds of it until
my you clocked out.
Where my internal disgust is like, America has fallen.
Serenko Productions said, how would they even verify you were trans? You could easily lie about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you'd have to have proof. So I don't even know. I don't want to think about that. Nebik said it's going to be called Little Mermaid Upping the Tea. Yikes.
Upping the tea.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Phenomenal wordplay.
Thank you.
By the way, I disassociated while watching that video, and a loud crisis party happened, and I had no idea what was happening.
3 booms for 3 crisis parties.
Yes, we
boom,
need a...
boom, boom.
That was only the second.
Yeah.
That was only the second. We need a third one.
Okay.
Yeah. We're like, we got a long way to go.
I won't get ahead of myself. Shane H. Wilder said, getting blackout in a club shows a lack of dignity, regardless of if you have kids or what sex you are. It leads down a very dangerous path. Completely agree.
Meh.
True.
Handle your liquor. Yeah. It's really rude, honestly, if you go with like a group of people to become completely incapacitated around them, and then you have to be babysat.
Yeah.
Well, never in a club, because I never went to clubs, but my generation had the dignity of throwing house parties where you then got blackout with your friends, and it was a lot different. Not strangers.
I mean, house parties still exist. Yeah. The COVID had a negative effect on that. Shane H. Wilder said Brett would like Taub. Is it Taub or is it Taub?
Would like Taub. I still think Chase had the best arc on the show, but I always thought the Taub one was funny because it's Hollywood playing against. They were subverting expectations by making the short balding guy who was just unbelievably negative. The whole show is pessimistic, but the short balding guy being the one who just can't stop cheating on his wife.
I like that Olivia Wilde, right? That was her. Yeah. She was like impossibly good looking. It was like, listen, I'm dying and I'm a doctor, and it's like based.
Yeah.
Based. Layla O said 100% agree with your house team assessment.
And Cameron was too OP for how not OP she was in the beginning.
Red Snow said praise the like, but like you should be praising Space King.
Praise the like button like you should be praising Space King, as I'm assuming.
Boom the like button.
Boom the like button.
If you haven't already.
Like when we were done with that the first time and Dane was just living in disgust, I was like, I don't get why I'm supposed to be so disgusted by this.
It's just that every time I share something that I dislike, it's like, well, guess what you're doing every week from now on.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, okay, the counter is reset.
Well, we got a 20 there for Mr. Moose Knuckle.
Oh.
Great name.
Here, take my useless frostback shekels. Fish are friends, not food.
I mean, I don't know about friends, but I definitely don't eat them.
Also, thank you for acknowledging the worthlessness of your currency. It makes me, I just feel like we're closer.
Technically, that's less than $20, right?
I know.
Because the Canadian dollar is
I'm just going by the orange nature of it.
That's fine. We'll give you a pass. DCNC said Metatron speaks Spanish and thinks the status of Puerto Rico is superior to that of a state.
Is DCNC the one who always wants to get Metatron on here? Or is there like a vast growing Metatron movement on this channel? It's just him?
It's literally just him. The Manic Mustache said, late again and antithetical to Riz. In my single days, I was shot down more times than a World War I French fighter pilot. Only advice is toughen up, Buttercup. There is your white pill for the day.
There you go.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
It's the
what a vivid
one of my favorite meme templates now. It's like me and my boys at the club. It's like 37 damn she's fine, 57 this. It's like 0 girls asked out, 0 numbers got.
Corey Anderson.
It's a very good time to be in a relationship, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real.
Corey Anderson said, no Boom videos without the Rizzler. He is my favorite.
Boom!
Wait, the kid
I thought the
who
kid
talks
was
like this. He's the Rizzler.
The Rizzler.
Right? Yeah.
Where's Livy Dunn when you need her?
When that kid's voice drops, it's going to be catastrophic for his career.
Or when he stops looking like a nugget.
They said that was going to happen to Justin Bieber, and it didn't happen. So.
True. Unknown said, boom. Thank you for that.
Boom!
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, seafood is brain food. Also good for Fridays.
Yeah, it's just, that's a big no from me, dog. Sorry.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, boom is what happens in the toilet after eating that poison.
The fish from Taco Bell.
No one mentioned Taco Bell. I think he means Costco.
Oh, okay.
I've never had it. Red Snow said, screw the Rizzler. When is the Grizzler coming on?
What's the Grizzler?
Is that the grandfather of the Rizzler? The Grizzler?
What, does that make
Dare I ask?
Does that make the dad the Drizzler?
And Shane H. Wilder said, fish are food, cat are friends.
You know, there is one redeeming factor where it seems like it's a father-son relationship where they get along, but it also might be that the kid is tortured into bringing income to the family.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that on Friday.
Yeah, we need legal protections for Rizzlers everywhere in the country.
Didn't they just pass something
Yes,
that
they did.
you make 15%?
Yeah, we were thinking about talking about that today, but it's
what a great time to be exploited as a child.
Yeah, no better time.
Yep. One more there from Greg Duvier says, Brett, you are from the land of 10,000 lakes. How do you not like fish? No walleye, sunfish, or bass? No, and no.
Okay, but you just like haven't even tried.
I've tried fish.
Like all of the.
I don't care. It smells disgusting. I'm not going to eat something that smells disgusting.
It smells disgusting.
You must have some kind of like genetic mutation.
Yeah, a genetic mutation of smarts that make me the
Do you
one who
have
doesn't
any
eat disgusting gross
Do you have any
food.
Irish ancestry?
I don't think so.
None at all.
I'm Polish, Croatian,
Okay.
Czech. Yeah, I don't.
I wonder if any of them eat fish.
Well, whatever it is, they're all wrong, and it's disgusting.
Well, you're theoretically supposed to eat your ancestral diet.
Well, when I see people eating tuna, I'm like, you should be locked.
Tuna is gross.
Tuna is gross, but
Tuna's gross.
Okay. Raw tuna, like if it's in sushi, that's fine.
Yes.
If it's canned, that's disgusting.
Correct.
But I don't have room to talk because I eat canned sardines.
But that's the ultimate hot girl food.
Is that the ultimate hot girl snack?
It's commendable that you do so.
Okay.
Stefan Buddy says, I'll pay for seafood boil for Brett.
Well, I guess.
I mean, it's not. He's not gonna eat it.
That's not gonna work.
Utaru says fish is for poor people.
Maybe
it's also for smart people who don't realize that they're smart.
Set a wager right now for you to eat seafood on the show.
That's the wager is 0 because I'm not doing it. It's disgusting.
You have to pick.
And I'm still traumatized.
Pick like a high one.
No.
Like
Wow,
there's no way.
I have principles. I will
All right,
not.
fine.
You painted your hair to a cartoonish like yellow, but you won't eat a fish.
Correct.
You'll look like a Ken doll for months, but you won't.
Yeah, I looked awesome.
But you won't.
You did look awesome.
I looked awesome.
You won't
In
eat
fairness.
a shrimp even.
Correct. One made me look awesome. The other one will make me wretched
You
and
are
vomit.
Knuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
One made me look awesome. The other one will make me vomit and
So you admit that you looked good in blonde
Well,
hair.
yeah, of course.
You
I mean,
admit
it's
it.
me.
Suringo Productions
kidding.
said, seeing Dane reminded me, everyone go see Dane on last week's Inverted World podcast. It was great.
It was great.
What did you guys talk about?
It was with Owen Benjamin.
Oh.
And we talked about literally everything.
Well, he's very opinionated about the moon landing. Is that
yes,
one of
and
the
we talked
things?
about how the moon landing's fake.
Yeah.
And
Do you believe that?
yeah, I don't believe in the moon landing.
Okay.
I don't believe that, like, with technology inferior to an iPhone, we created a spaceship powerful enough to reach the moon and then live stream it before the technology existed.
Do you think the other countries also faked their own moon landings?
Sure. Like I don't know how Elon barely can leave the stratosphere yet. We got to the moon in the 60s.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher for sure.
It's a head scratcher for sure. Eh?
But the very least I would say is I don't believe the footage is real. I believe that they televised it. I think it's a possibility that it happened, but they definitely televised a set version of events.
A reminder that everybody should go out and watch the 2021 Roland Emmerich masterpiece Moonfall, where the moon is the bad guy.
Where did we leave off? I think it's Rhaegar Targaryen. The Grizzler is the bear all the women want to throw their gyats at.
That makes sense.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, I agree with Brett, except salmon is great. See, even like salmon is top tier. You've got to admit that.
I don't have to
It's
admit,
the least bad.
I don't have to admit anything.
Okay. Stefan Buttle said, I don't eat ugly animals. I don't do turkey. I mean, most animals that we eat aren't particularly cute.
Turkey is lame though.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why we eat it once a year, and it's a day where we're grateful. It's like, well, at least we got.
I would rather eat chicken on Thanksgiving.
We should change it
Yeah.
to have chicken.
In the chat, Sketch Therapy says terrible, just terrible movie. Yes, I'm tricking everyone into it. It is awful. It's hilarious.
What movie?
Moonfall.
Oh.
Go watch
I
it.
wanted to see the movie they just put out about faking the moon landing.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's later this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Serenco
We've
Productions.
got Twisters coming up.
Yeah, so
Very
that's
excited about Twisters.
That's great. Serenco Productions said, I already read that one. Rhaegar Targaryen said also sushi.
Sushi's great.
Brett doesn't eat sushi either. Every time that sushi was delivered to the castle, he only came downstairs to get a burger.
What's up, dog?
Damn, the sushi. Oh, big dog.
Big dog.
The sushi era.
It's over.
Dude, it was a long-lived one. Sushi and poker.
So over.
Dude, now it's Indian food and Jersey Mike's.
That's a strange
most
combination.
Confusing era of them all.
B Muns in the chat says Roland Emmerich masterpiece is redundant. Yes, my friend. Just saying, he's right. All Roland Emmerich films are masterpieces.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, now we need to get Brett to eat crawfish. They look back at you.
I'm not doing that.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is not going to work, guys. Mark Reyes said, I was told fish is good when fresh. There are no fresh fish, no such thing. Well, how do you know that? Like,
he's a fresh fish denier.
Like even seconds after it's out of the water, you wouldn't say it's fresh. DCNC said, Brett eats cheese only pizza. Opinion rejected.
Usually pepperoni.
Yeah.
Listen, I have an opinion about that.
Usually.
So
Bro eats Chuck E. Cheese.
I think when you're trying to discern the quality of the pizza, it's always good to get a cheese pizza, just to be like, their bread is good, their cheese is good, and they have good, craftsmanship.
Have you seen? There's like a pizza and wing shack over here, and it's like nobody ever went there, and I always wondered why. So I finally went there. Aggressively mid.
We went and it was really bad.
What did you expect?
I mean, well, first of all, when I went on the website, it said you had to get a reservation.
What?
And I was like, what?
For pizza and wings?
And there wasn't even a place to sit inside. You could only sit outside. I'm like, it's cold several months out of the year here.
Yeah.
So I went and picked it up and I ate it, and they had the little pepperonis that they used to put on Red Baron pizza.
Oh my God, Red Baron.
Yeah.
The poor man's best friend.
Did you guys eat the pizza Lunchables?
Yes, I still do.
Oh my God.
As Mary knows.
No, the fact that you still eat that discards your opinion even further.
It's just further proof how much more advanced I am than everyone here.
Advanced is a real stretch, Brett.
Do you eat the dessert pizza?
No.
What's a dessert pizza?
They put it in the same Lunchable. It's just the same pizza, except you put weird chocolate sauce on it.
Dairy Queen used to have what was called the Treatza pizza, which was just ice cream pizza.
When I was a kid, those Lunchables commercials were banging, and I desperately wanted a Lunchables pizza, and the first time I had it, I threw up. I was like,
also, I dearly miss the taco Lunchable that they don't make anymore.
Yeah.
Never had that.
It was basically like, what if we made MREs for kids?
Yeah, basically, and then raise the price twice as much as it would be.
Yep.
Okay, High Voltage 75 said, I'm mostly Scottish, so what's my ancestral diet? Haggis? No thanks.
What do Scottish people eat?
Haggis.
Is that what they eat?
Wait, I'm not entirely sure what haggis is.
I always like the memes where it's like British people will have the gall to insult your politics and then go and eat something like this, and it's like beans and
Haggis
toast.
is a savory pudding containing sheep's pluck, heart, liver, and lungs, minced with chopped onion, oatmeal, spices, and salt, mixed with stock, cooked traditionally encased in the animal's stomach. What?
Damn.
Scottish people are messed up.
Do we need to invade Scotland? Like, what's
They
going
already
on?
got
Do they need freedom?
invaded, didn't they?
But do they need freedom? Is the question.
They love in the UK. They love beans on toast and black.
And then they have the
pudding.
gall to tell us we're bad.
They're still
Every
eating
time-
like it's World War II.
I think the most American thing that you can do is recognize the fact that Europeans are the cowards that stayed and Americans are the ancestors of people with bravery.
What do I get more hate for, though? Cheese pizza or pepperoni and green olive pizza? Because I also get hate for loving pepperoni and green olive pizza.
I mean, that's just a matter of taste, but eating cheese-only pizza as, like, a rule, it's childish.
Like, literally the other day, like, Olivia made a pizza that was, like, half pepperoni and then half pepperoni and green olive. And she would literally make faces while cutting to make sure that no green olives ended up anywhere near her half of the... Like, literally...
I don't get the hate.
Like, looking at me like she was just disgusted with the fact that she had to that she had to touch a green olive to put it on the pizza.
I don't get the hate, honestly.
I love it.
Pat the Plumber said the only seafood I'll eat is swordfish. I've tried that. It's not bad. But you're saying that you're like making faces like you've tried swordfish. Have you ever eaten swordfish? I highly doubt
I don't
it.
need to know that running 20 miles sucks I don't need to run 20 miles to know that running 20 miles sucks.
Hiroshima Otaru said fish is full of mercury.
Yep.
Well, that just makes it taste better. Like the lead in my Stanley Cup.
There you go.
Red Snow said Rhaegar got stolen valor for my super chat.
What was the...
What?
What was the last one Rhaegar sent? It was the also sushi.
I must have.
I agree with Brett, except salmon is great.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, now I want catfish. A catfish sandwich goes hard. High Voltage 75 said, honestly excited to see Twisters as well. Hopefully it will be better than the last movie I saw in theaters, Matrix 4. I fell asleep.
I'm gonna watch that Feelings movie because my wife wants to watch
The
it.
Feelings movie.
What's it called?
See, this is why Inside Out 2 did well. I want to watch that Feelings movie. My wife wants to see it because it's about feelings.
We were gonna go on Sunday and then we got there late, so we got the rain checks.
Why ever is this performing so well with women? It couldn't possibly be because the entire movie is about emotions.
Yep. There's another one there from Rhaegar Targaryen.
Haggis is sounding like when the boomers in my family cook chitterlings. It smells dreadful. What is that? Let me look that up.
And then there's one more here from Potatoes for Seamus. Says, Dane is my fave, even though he picks on me.
I don't pick on
Oh.
you. I pick on the boomer.
Chitterlings,
person.
sometimes spelled chitlins, are the large intestines of domestic animals, usually made from pig intestines.
Some guy in chat put Dane needs a good cry.
Do you? You feeling overwhelmed right now?
Deer Scream also says, Dane, gayest man with a wife.
Maybe.
Okay, we got another from Shane H. Wilder. The only reason I would have cheese-only pizza is if it was Friday and I had no other meatless choices. Been there.
I only get that from one place. Everywhere else I get pepperoni. But there's like one place where I get cheese pizza.
I'm also like a pepperoni supremacist.
Yeah. Yep. We are very close to the third crisis party, which would get them another boom, I suppose.
Okay. Oh my God.
We already reached it.
Yep. DCNC says, who mentioned catfish? Have to watch Hannah now.
What? What does that mean?
You have to ask him. All right, guys, before we go, remember that all your opinions on fish are wrong, and hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. I'm kidding. You're allowed to have, whatever fish you eat in the privacy of your own home is your own business, ladies and gentlemen. Dane, thank you so much. Let everybody know where they can find you and tell you you're wrong about fish.
I had no opinion on it. I was just quiet. But if you want to have discourse about fish, follow me on Twitter at DaneFont, and now I shall spell that out for you. DaneFont. By the way, there's a couple that came. Are we close to the third crisis?
We already got it. It's going to go off either before we're done or after the rest.
Cool.
There's 2 more there, Mary.
Yurishima Otaru said it is pronounced chitlins either way you spell it. And High Voltage 75 said boom? Question mark? Now that we got that out of the way, you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And we have 2 more. Shane H. Wilder said, okay, weirdest thing I enjoy is fried chicken gizzards and liver and onions.
And you guys are over here criticizing my food choices. Imagine.
You do eat like a baby.
I'm not saying I wouldn't try it. It just doesn't sound good.
Cry harder, Dane.
I'm not crying. I'm just pointing something out.
I'm not crying. I'm not. DCNC said Hannah Baron Yatari.
Okay, see, this is what I mean. When people make a reference and it's like we haven't discussed Hannah Baron at all today. I guess I'm supposed to just
like a million years.
Yeah, I'm supposed to just remember that it's vaguely connected to catfish, therefore Hannah Baron.
Yeah, I don't know. Potatoes for Seamus said Taco Bell fish tacos, Mary.
They have those?
No, they don't. I hope that they never do, because that sounds like food poisoning galore.
All right, you did your outro, correct?
Yeah, I did.
All right, no fish tacos. That sounds disgusting. Guys, if you'd like to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic. Sadly, I'm not on Twix right now. I'm in the middle of a cleanse through the week, so maybe I'll have
detox.
A detox
if you will.
from. I can only use X while I'm at work, so you can follow me there at Brett Dasovic on both those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch the show, there's the Crisis Party. That was on beat too. That was good. In the show, what else we got here? At @PopCulture_show.
The show exists.
Facebook and TikTok at @PopCultureCrisis. Instagram at @PopCultureCrisisPod. One more from DCNC. Only got 50 characters. Couldn't fit Baron. Who else you know is a catfish girl?
Okay, now you spent more money than you would have otherwise to explain your typo.
So thank you.
Though, thanks anyway. Shane H. Wilder said gizzards just taste like fried chicken. Not bad.
I'll pass on that, my friend. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then.
Bye,
everyone.